Hello, my. Uh, I was gonna say, I'm jumbled now. Hello, my family. How are you guys doing tonight? Hello, Sophie. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. You like my new intro?
I do like the new intro. It's good. It's more interesting than the other one. I like your outro too.
Now, if Rock Chalk is still somewhere in the chat, there's a link for her as well.
She's around.
What we're going to be getting into tonight. Her name is Sloan Bella. Yeah, she is very much of a accredited psychic medium. She has helped on a lot of big cases, and she has something to say about the Idaho 4 case. So let's get into it, guys.
Channeled video. This has been a super requested video since the event date, which was November 13th of 2022. I'm talking about the Idaho 4, as they have been
Somebody's echoing. Is that you, Rock Chalk?
named in the media.
It might be. Hold on.
The 4 college kids, students who...
What? Are you echoing, Rock?
He said to hold on.
For some reason, I got to turn my Bluetooth off when I'm on my phone.
were murdered in the middle of the morning or early morning on November 13th of 2022, and the 2 remaining roommates that survived and were able to walk away in the physical. I've been extremely hesitant to do this video because of the content of feeling that energy, and all week I've been directed to do the video, and I have gone in a multitude of directions. This is not one thing that had these kids killed. This is not like crazy guy in jail stalking them, wanting to kill them because he has a murder fantasy. That's what they want you to think, or that's what is being presented and or projected. This is multifaceted. This was a trifecta. There are at least 3 different groups, organizations, or focuses going into the murders, and each person that was murdered for a different reason. That includes being a distraction as to why you would kill 4 people. It's not as it appears. It is integral. It involves university, 3-letter organizations, all kinds of things in a succession of a energy that's coming at one time, and they are pushing it. It even involves human weaponizing. Okay, so the weaponizing of a human brain, which is the case of Brian Koberger, the person that they have in jail currently. So I had to look up the birthdays of everybody, obviously, and also the chart for approximately 4 a.m. on the morning of the 13th, which almost identically Sun in Scorpio and Moon in Cancer, the same as the accused killer. Okay, so, and I did a 6 a.m. chart for him, obviously, because I don't have a time of birth and can't find a time of birth. But what I found even more interesting is at the time that Brian Koberger was born. Okay, so he was born on November 21st of 1994. There was a penumbral eclipse that happened. I believe it was on the 18th of November of that year, and it hit the axis of Scorpio Taurus. Okay, so he has a Scorpio sun and a Cancer moon. That's as far as I could go into his chart. I didn't even bother looking at the rest. I looked at the aspects. I can see how somebody would think the way he thinks and be the way that he is, totally. And Scorpio rules sex, death, and transformation. Makes perfect sense to me. But also on a karmic level, that eclipse precipitated his birth. Now, the murders, the same eclipse happened, but the nodes were flipped. North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio. And then that was on the 8th of November of 2022. So we have the same energy. That's what involved him. Like in my head, I was like, wow, snap, click. There was a click there. And I don't have, but obviously I don't have both specific charts. I did run 4 a.m. on the day of the murders just to put the energy in it. And it was Scorpio, Sun, Cancer, Moon. And I was like, whoa, that's interesting. The other kids, now, as I said, Ethan, or I don't know if I said it, maybe in my head I said it, Ethan has a time.
She said that he was born on an eclipse. And the time of the murders, it was the energy was flipped.
Mm-hmm. I usually don't get into mediums and stuff, but this lady, I watched this, and this was her first Idaho 4 win. I like her. I do like her. I hope everybody in the chat likes her. Like, it was interesting. It's something different that I haven't seen done before. Good job, Robert and Sophie.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and Rock.
and you.
and Rock. Yeah. Pretty
Just like
excited about it.
she's going to mention here a little bit later in the video that Dylan's energy field is masked, and she can't get an accurate energy reading on Dylan. And Dylan saw the person walk in and walk out, and there was multiple people that Dylan saw that night. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Well,
I
know
said
she
what I
wasn't-
thought. I really like her. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's going to take your chat a little bit longer to watch a little bit and to really see where this lady is going. But she's going in good places.
Yep.
Yeah.
Time of birth listed online. I don't know if it's accurate. He was one of 3 triplets, and he was the firstborn. And it's stating October 28th of 2002, 4:43 p.m., Seattle, Washington, which gives him a Taurus rising, okay? 58-second Taurus rising, which means he would be affected by the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, the blood moon, prior to the murders, okay? He would be, and I suspect they all have something in their chart, Scorpio or Taurus. If I knew the times of birth, this would be great. I don't. So we have Kaylee, and she is a June 8th of 2001. We have Xana, and she is a July 5th of 2002. Then we have Madison, or Maddie, and she is a May 25th of 2002. Now, Bethany, one of the surviving roommates, they suggest that she has an April birth date, same age, peer group, but they say April. That could be Aries or Taurus. I'm going to say it's probably Taurus because of those eclipses, okay? So it's probably Taurus. I could find nothing, okay, nothing on Dylan. No birth date, no suggestion of a birth date, nothing, okay? So when they hide birth dates online, I should be able to find a birth date somewhere. Somebody, some school, some book, something. Nothing has been posted to a birth date that I could find. So no birth date on that. Now, here's what I feel happened the night that this happened, or preceding this, because it's a projection of things. So I want to talk about Brian Koberger to begin with, because I feel that he was there. I am not disputing that. I feel like he was there. I feel like he was known to everybody in that house. Known peripherally, known through a friend of a friend, known. Okay. I don't feel like he was somebody that they didn't know. I feel like somebody in that house absolutely knew him. I also, from the energy of Brian, feel like the connection to him is a weaponized human mindset. Weaponized. He was clicked into action. I don't know if this happens outside of what we know on Earth and is a spiritual element to it, or I actually feel that he was and is a weaponized human being. So I feel these ideas were projected onto him, and he was placed in that area very specifically to cause distraction. There are a multitude of things going on, and I don't even think that his brain understands what's going on. I'm not saying he's not guilty. What I'm saying to you is there is a succession of events, and there is multiple reasons for those people being murdered, not just one, and not just one person, and not just one group of people. This is a complete trifecta, a perfect trifecta of 3 different organizations. My mind was going everywhere. Okay. Speaking to me, I had trouble sleeping. My mind was going absolutely over here, over there, trying to feel the energy. I heard Kaylee say very strongly, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I was trying to ask her, what are you sorry for? Because I don't think she had anything to do with it. I think she spoke out of turn to somebody that she thought was a friend of hers. And this is a guy, not a girl. I feel like she was in the acquaintance of somebody who she did not know was connected to the group that she was speaking about. And I feel like that tripped her up. I don't feel like she knew, or she read it, or she could see it. So I feel like she came into the proximity of one of the 3 different people, different circumstances, different groups, if you want to put it like that, one of the 3 different groups that was focused on removing the people in that house from what they did. I also then whipped right over to Dylan, and there is a complete mask over her energy field. I cannot read her for the life of me, and she is not who she presents herself to be. I will tell you that. I feel like it's a complete inversion. It's completely inverted. It's not as she presents herself. Now, this could be self-preservation. I don't deny that. But I can't get a fix on the energy because she projects outwardly something that she isn't. Okay, I can tell you that much. That doesn't mean anything. A lot of people do that. So what I saw with her is that when the person walked in the house, okay, so when the person walked in the house, the person she describes in a mask, I feel like she saw them walking in the house. So when she says she saw them leaving, I believe she saw that as well. But I think she left out the part where she saw them walking in the house and opened the door, and they walked right by her. And I do feel like they saw her. So there's some kind of recognition there because they saw her. Whatever the recognition is, why ever they didn't kill her, there is a reason. There is acknowledgement there. I think she opened the door and went, oh shit, and shut the door. Okay. This is prior to what happened. She either caught the back end of them or caught it right on the way by. I don't feel like Bethany saw any of that, but I feel like Bethany knows exactly what was going on, but maybe during what was going on.
Okay, a little background on Sloan, guys. Sloan was born with psychic mediumship abilities, as well as being a technically trained astrologer, a modern day metaphysician, who also happens to be the mother of 2 boys, strong, authentic, gifted, intense, and compassionate. Sloan is a published author and TV personality who has been working with clients for the past 30 years.
Thanks, Robert, for giving us a little
Obviously, if you
background on her. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
so this lady knows what she's talking about.
hear
Yeah.
sounds like that, and I'm really hesitant to believe that they did not hear the sounds of people being murdered. I'm pretty sure you heard them. That house, I'm pretty sure you heard them. I can hear a creak in my house. I mean, there's no way you didn't hear them. You may have tuned it out. You may not have wanted to deal with it, but there's no way you can't hear that. That house was not that big, and it seemed like it was pretty actually run down, or not really sturdy. It wasn't like a mansion with 75 rooms. So I got the distinct feeling that both the surviving roommates actually did hear what went on. I am also seeing Kaylee and Madison at some kind of establishment, bar, restaurant, whatever. I see them talking, they're eating something. So it could be like at a bar stool. It's a table, not a booth table. They're sitting there talking, and who they're talking to is a turncoat or a Benedict Arnold or
Well, they were spotted at the corner club talking to Jack D. Could he be the turncoat? Possibly.
What about or Adam?
Yeah, Adam knows
Adam,
everything.
She told Adam everything.
Yes, she did.
yes, and then the call, the call for the murders were made that night through a random series of texts by whoever Kaylee was talking to, or whoever Maddie was talking to, and she gets into that in this video.
a person who is setting them up, getting information about when they're going home, what they're going to be doing. I feel like the girls were talking to the enemy without knowing it was the enemy. Now, what do I mean by that? You're thinking, who wants to kill young girls, right? Besides sexual pervert, which is where this case is going when they focus on Brian Koberger. They focus on, he's like on the spectrum, he's OCD, and he is a Scorpio. They do stalk people. I mean, that's just factual. They do it for fun. Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon, whatever, Scorpio sun, they can't help themselves. They rule that part of the chart. They also make great detectives. Okay. So they will research. I feel like Brian was called in to the house after the fact or during the fact to follow up on the fact. That's actually what I think. I realize he was there, but I'm trying to feel what he's doing, and it feels like I'm cleaning up.
Would you like to catch Dillahole up, Rock? Dillahole said she's losing it. She's losing Dillahole.
How is she losing Dillhole? She's a median, and she's talking about what she sees because of their birth dates, and it's a numerology thing. I mean, I understand some people don't understand it, but she's probably one of the best ones I see because I don't follow this either. But if you just keep listening, she's gonna round it out where you understand a little bit more. But this is what she sees as a median, somebody that sees what nobody else sees. She's not reading the paper. She's not making this up. This is what's coming to her in her mind. Did I help make sense of that? Hopefully.
I think so.
There,
Behind somebody,
you,
I'm cleaning up. Okay, so it looks a little bit, and I'm not apologizing for him. I don't even want to hear that in there. I'm telling you what I'm feeling, and I don't have to feel what is written in the newspaper. That's not how psychic works. That's not how mediumship works. That's not how energy reading works. And I'm getting really amped up with it. I hear Kaylee again saying, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I hear Xana talking to her mother. I'm hearing that there's something going on with her mother in the next 5 months where the mother either has to have surgery or some kind of medical issue. And
okay.
Xana is saying, it's okay. I'm
Let me
okay.
zap
Like
that.
she's saying it. You don't have to do this. You don't like, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe, but that's what I'm hearing. So Xana is very focused on her mother, very focused on that. I'm feeling like everybody was killed slightly differently, as in there were different weapons used. I'm going to word it like that. So one may not actually be a knife. It may be something else. It may be a sharp edged thing. What was so interesting is when I was trying to feel the energy, was thinking of people that sharpen weapons, like other kinds of things like ski poles and stuff, and they sharpen it where it could look like a knife or stick somebody like a knife. So I was thinking of that. That tells me it's not just a knife. I feel there was fighting. I also feel the phone call was made. The people were sent out. The cleaner came into the house. The people were sent out. There's somebody scooping up paperwork or looking for information in the house. Now, I don't know how much paperwork anyone keeps in those like fraternity houses or sorority houses or on campus.
What kind of paperwork do you think that they were looking for? Bank records, maybe?
Okay. I understand that some people don't realize, but what's going on here. But Dillhole, I'm going to warn you one more time, and then I'm going to boot you. If you don't like it, you can step out, but you're not going to be calling her names. Okay? Thank you. What was you saying, Robert?
What kind of paperwork were they looking for? Bank records, maybe?
Could be bank records. I mean, they could have been keeping track of maybe how they were making money. I mean, it could be anything. Now, and also there was a comment earlier. They don't understand how the different signs are. I'm an Aries. Like Aries don't mix with Pisces. Like I believe that. I might not believe in all the medium stuff, but I do believe in the true signs that's for your birthday.
Yeah. I'm a Gemini.
I'm just saying I can usually run into somebody, I can tell if they're a Sagittarius or they're a Pisces. And I can usually tell if you're an Aries. Call it what you will, but I think it does make a difference.
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo, if we're just going to
houses.
throw stuff out there.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever
Can you
noticed the
tell?
difference, Sophie? Yeah,
I can totally tell. I'm like, I don't do well with Scorpios. No thanks.
yeah. I mean,
Sorry.
so for
Sorry, anybody
somebody,
in chat, but I can
yeah, I
tell
mean,
that it's not a
not
good
everybody,
combo.
yeah, well, not everybody in chat believes this. I get that, but I do. I believe that the different signs we have, some of us just don't mix well together, okay? And some of us mix real well together. So,
Yeah.
But I'm feeling like they were looking for something in particular. I also feel like a call was made at about 11 o'clock the night prior on the 12th, and everything was set into motion then. It was set into motion. It's going forward. Now, I feel like this is connected to something so much more than like, I'm pissed off at you, I'm a psychopath, I'm coming to kill 4 random people. That house was being watched, they were being stalked. Everybody in that house was being watched, okay? Everybody, not Madison, not just Kaylee, not, Bethany, not just Dylan, all of them. And there was one other girl in there. All of them, okay? All of them were being watched. They were being watched from the perspective of, we need to see who's saying what. So we listen. That sounds like some kind of organization or some kind of crime group and or government crime, something. They were being watched. I feel like the 2 girls, Kaylee and Madison, got in the way of an investigation for either a crime trafficking family. I go to Arizona, I go to New Mexico, and I go to California. That's a triangle. That's a triad, a trifecta. That's what they keep telling me in my head, a trifecta. So I go to there. What happens in those states? Trafficking, 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 trafficking. I can't stop saying that. Trafficking. That's what happens in those states. Somebody in that house was speaking and was involved with somebody connected to that organization. And then somebody else in that house was talking about what they knew about what this person said, kind of peripherally. So it's like when I say something and there's a whole group of people and I say something and these 2 people have a secret over here and I'm outing their secret. No one's told me. I just happen upon it. Observation. I happen to say something that makes one turn against the other. One turns against the other. One turns against the other. Okay? One turns. I don't necessarily think that's even really what happened. I think it was sort of a happenstance. And I also feel like it was 3 men involved. It's all threes, threes, okay, all the way along. 3 men. Now, when you're talking about the roommates, and it sounds really very, very strange, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but one of the roommates presents herself how she isn't. So I present myself like this, but I'm not really like this. So the projection or the energy that I show is cloaked and hidden because I don't want you to know who I am and why I'm at your school. Okay. So that's what I will say. I don't want.
Hey, do you want to know how Mark Chapon made $178,000 in 3 months?
Don't want you to understand what I'm really doing there because it's not about education for me. That's not what it's about. So I get that very strongly. So there's a mole in the house. Now, the mole can be working for the good side or the bad side, the crime family or the cops, right? Like, I don't know which side. And sometimes the cops can be bad and the crime family can be good because it's all flipped and crazy. There is a succession, and then there's drugs. Okay, so there's three things: weaponized human, trafficking, and drugs. But it's not drugs like pharmaceuticals, opioids, fentanyl, heroin. That's not what I'm talking about. Why do people take drugs besides for fun and besides for illness, right? They take drugs, steroid performance enhancing drugs. What if, while all of this shit's going on, we have people being brought into this school setting, this university? We have people being brought in there that are kind of harnessed and drugged in order to perform, in order for sports, in order for money. Because human trafficking is one thing, it goes in different directions. But what if the sports department, and I am getting that. So there's also a connection to that. And that came through the side of Ethan. So I don't know what he was involved in or not involved in, but somebody that he was around and talked to is connected to that element. Now, you can be friends and have a whole bunch of people that you know and hang around and not think that they're involved in anything, or you could suspect it, but you're still hanging out with them because you're friends. You know, when you're 20, you're 21, you're not thinking that, right? You're not thinking that this person is going to fuck up my life because they're going to tell me something and I'm randomly going to repeat it, which is what happened with Kaylee. That is why she's saying, I'm so sorry. About 11 o'clock the night before they were killed, she is talking in this restaurant and bar place setting, and she is speaking about something, and they are like,
Do you think Kaylee's mouth could have got them killed?
I actually think that she could be getting a missed vibe, that she does see a woman speaking, but I still believe Maddie told Adam everything.
Oh yeah, I do too.
And it's
What are
okay.
your thoughts, Sophie?
I don't know. I think this is funny because I don't normally watch these things, but I am open-minded enough to be like, let's hear it. I want to hear what she has to say. So I don't know who, you know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing too. So she's hearing or seeing these things. Could they be coming from different people? Like Rock said, like, is she get, I mean, clearly if she's getting this kind of like unearthly vibe thing, whatever she calls it, like she may be getting signals that are not complete.
Or I have an idea, or just maybe it is something that Kaylee said to somebody and Maddie repeated it to Adam. I mean, there's
Right?
many ways to go here.
Yeah. And it could have nothing to do with Adam. It could have something to do with something else completely that we don't even know about, because we only know the little tiny chunks of the night facts. We don't really know, we don't know what happened 2 days before that.
We got a compliment. Yes, I love you guys. You're amazing humans. You have done such great research. You should be a private investigator.
Well,
Oh,
that's
that's
nice.
you.
It is really nice, but listen, just because it's not something your cup of tea, because I don't usually follow mediums either, but I came across this. We watched it the other night, me and some friends. And I was like, you know what? I didn't turn it off. I actually watched
Yeah,
the whole thing, so it's worth
I like
showing
her.
it to you guys to see what you think. Let's
She, and
go.
she,
Yeah.
she's got a good channel. I think she's interesting. I'm willing to
I'm
listen.
ready
Yeah.
Let
for
me
part
know.
2. I'm ready for a second one.
Is she doing a second one? Or
Well,
we?
this
What do
was
you
her
mean?
first one.
absolutely the fuck
Oh,
not. You
cool.
have to shut up. Okay. So they're not telling her that, but in their head, she is talking to somebody and she's getting bits and pieces of it, not the whole thing, bits and pieces. Okay. Bits and pieces, little bits and pieces. And she's talking to somebody that she assumes is a friend, not an enemy, not a frenemy, but a friend, male. This male person is texting madly. There is a setup starting at 11 p.m. the night prior. Okay. The house
No.
is already being watched. It's being watched by a multitude of different people. Also, bullshit on the neighborhood not knowing what's going on. Just bullshit on that. Because the people
Right.
around the house absolutely, I hear this very clearly, absolutely understood back off and shut up. Back off and shut up. There is no excuse whatsoever. I'm going to come out and say it, okay? I'm going to come out and say it. There is no excuse whatsoever to not call 911 for 8 hours. I don't care who you are or what kind of mental freezingness you have. Okay. I don't care. I don't care how you want to. Literally, the camera just cut off because I said, I don't care how you want to justify that, as if people are trying to justify it. I understand trauma from the point of seeing dead bodies. I've seen several. I get it. I understand hearing even guns go off. Like, I've heard guns go off, and I get it. I get that you can freeze, but 8 hours of conscientious direction in a different way is an entirely different thing. What happened in that 8 hours? And by the way, when I'm okay, one of the girls, and I don't ask me which one because I get confused. It was one of the blonde girls, though. One of the girls is holding on literally to the bed, okay? Like holding on to the bed and being.
Could that have been Maddie or Kaylee?
Could be either.
It could be any of the, you know what I mean? It could be
Could have been
Xana.
Well,
Xana.
she said blonde, so it's
Oh,
either
okay.
Maddie or Kaylee. I mean, hell, for all we know, it could be freaking Dylan or Bethany.
Yeah, it's a lot of blondes in that house, and again, it's like a spiritual thing, right? So she's feeling this energies of these different things. So yeah, I mean, it could be so many things. You're
Oh,
holding on
thanks,
to the.
Bianca. Bianca
Thank you,
gifted a
Bianca.
membership. Yeah.
Ooh, thank you.
Welcome to the cult family, Cynthia.
Pulled away. I don't feel that they recognized fully who was there. There was more than one person in the house. And that may be the confusion of Dylan, seeing one go in and one go out and catching the eyebrows coming towards her. Note, I was directed at the statement that she made, if it is correct. It's so hard to tell online, but if it is correct, she said the person was athletic but not muscular. Let's reword that. One of the people that came in to kill those four was muscular and also had bushy eyebrows. The point was, he was muscular. That's why she said he wasn't. And it was two different people. So did she see the back of one and the front of another? Yes. And they all came from different directions, okay? Like for different reasons. Now, Brian is a weaponized human. He is put in there, controlled human, mind-controlled human to do what they want him to do. And he came in to assess what went on. I keep getting that. Like, to take note of it, to observe it, to keep it where it couldn't be found, to make it in a particular way to make sure the other ones didn't get caught. And there's a payoff for, if you take the fall for this, we will go here. There's also mind control with it.
Okay. This totally confirms what I've been thinking. Brian is a patsy.
That's possible.
Yeah, very possible, and totally what I mean. Clearly, I think every other theory every other day, but right now it does seem really, really possible, and why all the paperwork's messed up, and why everything's so pushed out and blank that we don't get anything.
Yeah. I mean, I totally believe her about Dylan. Dylan is not the person she's portraying to be.
I've heard that before. I tend to believe it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take the fall for that, okay? And I'm not saying he wasn't involved in it, but it's not quite to the degree that he was a psychopath in there murdering everybody. There are other people, period. It has to do with trafficking. It has to do with sports. It has to do with steroids, drugs, injectables, whatever you want to call them. All of those things are involved. Each and every person in that house was talking to other people that they assumed were friends. There was many a voyeur in that house because it is a town full of young kids in a house, girls. So the neighbors were watching, always watching. There is video footage of what happened. So this brings another element. I feel like that home was bugged. Okay, bugged. By bugged, I mean like in the, 1960s reference, Maxwell Smart Get Smart. They placed objects in the house that could absorb, record, watch, rewind, watch, rewind, watch, rewind. There's a full accounting.
Now, I wonder if that's where the 400 witnesses come in, because you heard her. That house was bugged and full of cameras,
I saw cameras there. I saw the camera wires.
So they could watch, rewind, watch, rewind, watch, rewind.
That's so gross.
I always thought the cameras were there maybe for the fans only, but what do I know?
Well, they wouldn't have wired cameras up for that. Why would they do that? It's 2024 or it was 2022.
You know
why wouldn't they?
I'll tell you why. Because your regular cameras, your battery operated cameras, and your wireless are very easily hacked. Very easily hacked.
Okay.
Listen, I have 8 wired cameras and I have 8 rings. There's a reason, because wired cameras cannot be hacked. Anyway, that's the answer to your question.
That's a cool answer. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
On the internet of the murders, I don't know if it's on the internet you and I would see, but somewhere online, this is being sent around because there is also a ritualistic aspect to it. The Greek system, the numerology, the sigil magic that Dylan put the tattoo on her arm. I'm not disputing getting a tattoo after someone dies. As you know, I did the same thing. It's what the tattoo is. That is a sigil. Okay. So I feel like
Welcome to Flatiron School. This is where you learn how the future works, where the whole point of education.
So those tattoos that Dylan and Bethany got are sigils. They're symbolic.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. We also got some more new members.
There's a specific.
Yes, I saw that, and thank you to the True Crime Cult family.
Specific reason for that. It's numerology. All of the kids' names are connected energetically. That's why they were brought there. There's a connection. This is a spiritual focus. This is a ritualistic performance on top of. Okay, so that's another layer. It is not just nut job Brian came into town and decided, I'm going to kill 4 people I don't know because I'm socially awkward on the spectrum and I'm a freak. I'm not saying he's none of those things. I'm just saying that's not what happened. And I feel like his brain has been controlled. I do feel it's really strange, but I feel like the people in the house knew him or knew of him. So I feel like he was familiar to people in the house. I also feel that you have no idea, nor do I, what was really going on behind the scenes, the spiritual element. When we go to sororities and frat houses, what are we really doing? I didn't go to those, but if you do belong to those type of things, what kind of an energetic system are you following? It's like skull and crossbones. So think about that for a second. Fraternal order, go back to even cartoons with the Flintstones, the fraternal order, blah, blah, blah. That's what they're following. So there is a spiritual component to what goes on as well. And there are people that will be given up for the greater good financially of the organization. And that's what I feel the motive is. That's what I feel the motive is. Okay. I feel like Ethan on the other side is fucking confused. Like he's like, shit. When he saw, this is what I feel. I feel like he didn't even suspect who it was. So somebody turned on him, and I'm almost going into somebody that was very, very close to him, as in close, not friend, maybe related on some level. There's
Ooh.
somebody, he's like opened my eyes, like
Related.
Related, and listen, I don't even want to go with this one, but I'm just going to stay with the related. Ugh,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, you know where my mind's going once she said related.
Well,
Mhm.
they said the
wow,
neighbor
wow.
Yeah.
found them. I'm not going to say the other one. So,
Yeah.
interesting.
Wow. Okay. So and there's connections
Interesting.
all the way through that. I also feel that the confusion lies with why the roommates didn't call 911, why they called everybody but 911 or whoever called. I'm not sure who called, but I don't know why you're not calling. What has happened? Were you in an altered state at the time? Were you even in your body? Was there something else going on ritualistically behind the scenes? I will go down that line because I could see it. That's why I'm all over the place. This case is all over the place. Now, I am seeing that, okay, so this is the year 2024. So by the year 2034, so a decade from now, we will have the answers. Some of it is going to come to light this year. You're going to hear wording that makes you know it's not just a random lurking, stalking asshole who killed them. Okay, because that's what Brian Koberger would be, is an asshole. Ask yourself, is that really the reason that these 4 kids are dead? Absolutely not. There is a component. I really feel they got in the mix by accident, at least the ones that are dead, by accident in a cartel of triangular traffickers. Arizona, New Mexico, California, Arizona, 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 New Mexico, California. That is what I think. I think they have people who phone. I think they have people who watch. I think this was very constructed. Now, here's something I'm going to say, and it might offend people. I feel somebody in that house, whomever, don't know if they're the dead roommates or the living roommates, but somebody was getting paid for the information that they were giving. I'm going to have to suspect that it's probably one of the 2 living ones because otherwise they'd be dead. But and oh my God, I feel like, of course, I'm always going to say this. I feel like there is a component of authority involved because we all know when you have power, it's ridiculous. But the police department on some level is corrupt on some level. And they are being put into position to allow Koberger to get off on something or to get away with it. Or that's actually what's happening, I feel. Okay, I'm not saying he will. He might get some time in jail, or not. I feel like he's so meticulous because he's a weaponized human brain mindset. Weaponized. And I also feel like the weaponization of his thinking, which we would call OCD. I love a good cleaning fest with OCD, but who would think like a person with OCD? Ask yourself that. Who would think like a person with OCD? They say that OCD people have trauma and they want to control. Okay. But who would think like a person with OCD? Think of the movie Pulp Fiction. Think of the character that showed up when, whichever one, it wasn't John Travolta, it was the other guy. Jackson. Samuel Jackson, I'm trying to think. And he shoots that kid in the car because he won't shut up, and he doesn't want to shoot him. He just is shut the fuck up and shoots him. So the car has to be cleaned. So that guy comes in and he's meticulous. He wears gloves. He has OCD and he cleans. So it's kind of interesting. My mind went to Pulp Fiction and the cleaner guy and the junkyard and the car and your wife's coming home and make me a cup of coffee and put these clothes on and do this. That is very meticulous and very OCD. Most of us can't clean a car. Like if something dies in our car, we can't clean it to get rid of the smell, to get rid of the blood, to get rid of stuff. Okay. A meticulous person knows exactly what kind of chemicals to use to remove that type of thing. Let's say you had a dog that died in the car. You put a dying dog in the car. Do you really think you could get the smell out? Do you think you and I could do that? Do you think taking it to the car wash does that? No, you have to know specifically what's going to work on cars, carpets, curtains, floors, etc. Okay, so I feel like there's an element to what's going on that's like Pulp Fiction. So Brian Koberger is called in to oversee, overlook, at least in his mind, this is what I'm picking up. Now, maybe he went and killed them and thought that that wasn't what he was doing. That's quite possible. But I feel like this is where we are going with this. There is a combination of things. It's big money. And again, Kaylee says, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I know that the media or the people online switched it to say that maybe Madison was the target, but I'm hearing Kaylee say that. So I'm going to stick with she got herself into a situation or circumstance that she was unaware that the person she was speaking with, male, was an enemy. And she was giving this person bits and pieces of information. Now, they show a lot of stuff online, body cam footage, neighbor footage, cop footage, whatever. They go to the house and they're like, knock, knock. There's so much noise. And you see the kids come out. I don't know which, I know, but the kids come out and they're like, you know, one of them says, I'm not 21 and that's my rate. And I think it was Kaylee. And then that's my roommate or whatever she says. Why really were those, and you can't get 911 to show up. Okay. Like I'm being dead serious. Very, very rarely do they come. You actually like, what are they? What, a noise complaint in a college town or what? And then the cop's standing there and he's like, well, instead of giving you a $300 ticket, you should have some beer and spend your money like that. Like, I'm sorry, you don't want them to make noise, but you want them to drop a couple of hundreds on booze and then think they're not going to make noise. Makes no sense. So I was immediately
that was
drawn
a weird
to,
thing to say.
What if the police showing up, knock, 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 is like, hey, we can see you. We know what you're doing. That's why we're coming to the door on a noise complaint. Everybody knew they were noisy because they're 20-year-olds. That's what they do. Dogs are noisy. Kids are noisy. I mean, okay. And this is a town full of people in housing, going to school, drinking and partying. Yeah, they're noisy. Anyway, I also get a connection, and I have no idea who this is, but to a father figure connected to the house. So there's somebody writing checks with a lot of money. I don't know whose father it is and why I'm using the word father figure to the house. I write checks. I pay for housing. I pay for this. I pay for that. I'm also involved peripherally.
Can you stop it for a minute? I really wanted you to stop it way back. But how many people in the chat? Like, I do believe that there is some crookedness in MPD. Like, I do believe that. But do I believe
so do I.
that I wish you would have stopped it there. I was trying to get your attention. But sorry that I'm going back, guys. But I do believe there maybe is one or two crooked people there. Maybe even a little bit more as far as Moscow PD. Do I believe that the FBI is crooked? Not a chance. I don't think they would. ISP maybe, but I don't think the FBI would risk everything to cover up for a small town like Idaho. And some of the things they did, like if they walked up on my property and I've got beer sitting out there and they dumped it out, that'd be against the law. That's trespassing.
Yeah.
Now what if one of the parents was there? They don't know who's there. It's a party house. I know I've seen several videos where there was an older gentleman there What if that was his alcohol? I just want to know what gives MPD the right to go to that backpack on private property and get in it and dump out
Yeah.
them Trulies. Does anybody else feel that way? Because that really bothered me.
Yeah, me too.
And it bothered
I
me
thought
too.
And
it's
then
just like a dick move.
and then taking the pictures. You know,
Of the
taking the
ID.
pictures of the IDs. Like, so when she said back there, I think there might be some crooked cops here. I agree with her. Like, I agree with her. Do I think the FBI's crooked? No. But I think there could be very possibly some crooked cops. And I come from a family of cops. So don't throw out there that I'm a cop hater or LEO hater because I am not. But the fact is, there is some crooked cops. Maybe not there, but I think there is.
Well, I backed it up a little bit.
Do you really think you could get the smell out? Do you think you and I could do that? Do you think taking it to car wash does that? No, you have to know specifically what's going to work on cars, carpets, curtains, floors, etc. Okay, so I feel like there's an element to what's going on that's like Pulp Fiction. So Brian Koberger is called in to oversee, overlook, at least in his mind, this is what I'm picking up. Now, maybe he went and killed them and thought that that wasn't what he was doing. That's quite possible. But I
don't
feel
think
like
that.
this
I
is
don't think
where
that.
we are going with this. There is a
I don't think that at
combination
all.
of things. It's big money.
Well, listen what she said about big money.
But I don't
And
think that
again,
Brian Koberger
Kaylee
killed them. So I want to
No.
throw that out there.
At all?
says, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I know that the media or the people online switched it to say that maybe Madison was the target, but I'm hearing Kaylee say that. So I'm going to stick with she got herself into a situation or circumstance that she was unaware that the person she was speaking with, male, was an enemy. And she was giving this person bits and pieces of information. Now, they show a lot of stuff online, body cam footage, neighbor footage, cop footage, whatever. They go to the house and they're like, knock, knock. There's so much noise. And you see the kids come out. I don't know which kid it is. One time it was Kaylee. It might have been Madison one time. Or it could have been Xana.
Yeah, it was Anna.
I don't know. But the kids come out and they're like, one of them says, I'm not 21 and that's my roommate. And I think it was Kaylee. And then that's my roommate or whatever she says. Why really were those cops there? Because in my neighborhood, there's murders that happen and you can't get 911 to show up. Okay. Like I'm being dead serious. Very rarely do they come. You actually like, what are they? What, a noise complaint in a college town or what? And then the cop's standing there and he's like, well, instead of giving you a $300 ticket, you should have some beer and spend your money like that. Like, I'm sorry, you don't want them to make noise, but you want them to drop a couple of hundreds on booze and then think they're not going to make noise. Makes no sense. So I was immediately drawn to what if the police showing up, knock, 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 is like, hey, we can see you. We know what you're doing. That's why we're coming to the door on a noise complaint. Everybody knew they were noisy. Because they're 20-year-olds. That's what they do. Dogs are noisy. Kids are noisy.
20-year-olds are noisy?
Okay, and this is a town full of people in housing going to school.
No, Rock, I know when you were 20, you were noisy, just like me when I was 20, and probably just like Sophie when she was 20.
Hell, I'm almost 56. I'm still noisy. Are you serious?
I still resemble that remark also.
Yeah.
Drinking and partying. Yeah, they're noisy. Anyway, I also get a connection, and I have no idea who this is, but to a father figure connected to the house. So there's somebody writing checks with a lot of money. I don't know.
Rewind that.
A father figure?
Yeah. Interesting.
Not a father. She didn't say father.
Because they're 20-year-olds. That's what they do. Dogs are noisy. Kids are noisy. I mean, okay. And this is a town full of people in housing, going to school, drinking and partying. Yeah, they're noisy. Anyway, I also get a connection, and I have no idea who this is, but to a father figure connected to the house. So
Okay,
there's
stop for just
somebody
a minute.
writing checks.
Okay.
Father
Am I
figure.
the only one? Am I the only one that saw the older gentleman in the house with the solo cup in his hand running around? Did we ever figure out who that guy was?
No.
Chat, do you
Uh-uh.
remember that? I know I'm not the only one that saw the older gentleman at that party walking through the house. Also, Ashley had a question that she wanted you to ask chat while this is going.
Okay, Ashley, what was your question?
Back it up in the chat. Here, I'll read it. Let me find it. She wants to know, did drugs or informants play a part in this crime? What does the chat think? She wants you to think on that and give her an idea. But yeah,
Well,
the
there,
older gentleman, interesting. Father figure. They're not saying a father figure.
She's about to say that writes checks or something. Like
Right.
I'm really interested in what comes after that too.
I
Like what?
left you on a hanger.
Yeah, you did.
We know what you're doing. That's why we're coming to the door on a noise complaint. Everybody knew they were noisy because they're 20-year-olds. That's what they do. Dogs are noisy. Kids are noisy. I mean, okay, and this is a town full of people in housing, going to school, drinking and partying. Yeah, they're noisy. Anyway, I also get a connection, and I have no idea who this is, but to a father figure connected to the house. So there's somebody writing checks with a lot of money. I don't know whose father it is and why I'm using the word father figure to the
Does he
house.
own a
I
yacht?
write checks.
Is it the guy that owns the yacht that all these kids were on the yacht? Like, I got a lot of questions.
Yeah, yachts are expensive.
Yeah, remember all the pictures of
possibility.
them on the yachts?
And I would
Yeah.
assume that yacht's probably on Lake Coeur d'Alene, which is a very, very nice town.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. I know old Nina Kelly might have them answers.
I bet
She'd
she
be doing
does.
some good digging. I see her out there. We'll have to
Mhm.
ask her after bed.
She's sleuthing.
Pay for housing, I pay for this, I pay for that. I'm also involved peripherally because of how I make my money. How
How I make my money. How does he make his money? That is the $64 million question. How does he make his money?
And there's so many answers to that $64 million question. I got a lot of ideas.
do I make my money? Don't know who that is, but I'm also getting that. So this is my first video, and it's very like all over the place because I didn't know where to go with it, because I was all over the place. It's not what is being presented out there. It is different. So this is my first video on the Idaho 4.
Very interesting questions have been raised yet again in this case.
Who is Rogaine? Maddie was dating Rogaine. I mean,
I do not know who Rogan is.
I think I'm guessing it's the older person that was at the party.
Well, or
Maybe?
is it a joke because Rogaine
that's a
is that hair growing stuff? Like
Yeah,
I'm being
that's what I
serious
think.
here.
That's what I think it is. That's what I think, or somebody's nickname that we don't know about.
I find that very interesting.
Okay, what was War said they went to Watershed together? Who went to Watershed together?
I know you're
Sa-
saying Rogaine was Maddie's boyfriend. Was he an older gentleman? Rogaine is for balding. Yeah, that's why I'm confused. Like, I guess I'm lost on who Rogaine is.
Okay,
Maybe it's a rich.
Sarah Kelson said, Steve G is my best guess.
Okay, that was his
It's-
nickname. Was he an older gentleman?
The Steve G thing is, I was thinking like I read that, I was kind of thinking like, but then
What was War said J?
then she said it was Just
Yeah,
or just
we're
just
stay
used those
away.
words or whatever.
We're gonna stay away from the parents
Yeah.
at that, but we that wasn't a parent that I saw in the videos. That was the older
No.
gentleman. So,
Uh-uh.
and I don't say this disrespectful, but I've seen videos out there about sugar daddies and other things. I have a brother that had a sugar mama, so I'm not doubting it and I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying it very could possibly be.
Hey, sometimes you just got to do things.
But we're
I think that's
definitely not
funny.
going to be these parents. I will stick my grounds on that. These parents, as much
She's
as I want to say their names, I don't know what they're going through, and I really try to stay away from accusing their parents of anything.
she
Seriously.
didn't. She didn't. The next thing she said was, "I'm not trying to say father
No,
figure." I was
chat
just
did.
like,
Chat
"Oh,
did.
okay, gotcha."
And I think Robert might have repeated it. So I just want to make that clear. We're not here to blame the parents for anything at all. Right, guys? Are
Yeah,
we're on the same
absolutely.
page
Yeah,
No, we're
there?
yeah,
not.
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Good Lord.
Here, I'm pulling something up. I think you might want to see it's body cam footage from 1122 King
Oh,
Road. And
let's see it.
I was kind of curious what everybody thought about the median, what they thought about her, and if
I
she
liked
comes
her.
out with another one, are they interested in watching it? Are they
So,
interested if we could get her to come do interview? Okay, cut me off again.
Robert.
You got to
I
quit
didn't
that.
mean to. I was trying to stop it.
That's
I
okay.
was trying to stop it.
Did what did the chat think about that? And if she comes out with a second one, are you interested? And if I reach out to her and her coming and talking, are you interested in that? We're just
Happy
trying
Face
not to
said
go over the
yes.
same stuff all the time. Trying to give you something
Yeah.
new.
You gotta stay
Yep.
open-minded. We don't know. We don't know.
And I see Terry
Now,
Martin says Maddie's boyfriend's name was Jake. He also
yeah, it was
supposedly
Jake.
okay. Anyway, that's the thought. We'll ask at the end. Keep that thought open.
Uh, Cynthia said some of these people use these
Night,
girls
baby.
and guys as dates to show what I have or what they have.
Some of these people use these girls and guys as dates, and so look what I have. Yeah, they're trophies. That's what they consider them. Like I see it all the time. I don't judge, but I go to Vegas a lot, and I always see an older gentleman with a younger
Yeah.
lady.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'm not there to judge. And you
Yeah.
know what? They might be from out of town, and hey, some guys like to hang out with younger women. That don't mean that they're prostitutes or something like that.
Oh yeah. I didn't
You
think that
know,
was
hell,
the
I'll tell
implication.
you if I looked like them and I was their age, and somebody said, "Hey, will you go to this party with me just as a friend, and I'll pay you," I'd probably
Yeah.
go.
Hell yeah, I'd go too.
You know, how much you
That's what I was
paying
saying.
me?
That's what I was saying. Sometimes you got to do things. I'd be like, hell yeah, I would do that.
Yeah,
Why
Okay,
how
now
much
not?
you paying me?
in this
Now,
body cam, you guys are gonna see Emma Bailey walking out of the
okay,
house.
one more thing,
Walking out of the
before you start that. So, what was war? Where are you seeing that Jake and Adam both worked for MPD? Because we need receipts for
yeah.
that. We're not gonna go all crazy out there. Like, do
Who-
you have
that-
receipts that Jake and Adam both worked for MPD? Because if you do, send them to Robert. I'd like to see
y-
them.
Do you mean like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, which Adam? Is
I
there more
have
than one
not
Yeah.
heard
Adam?
that. Have you guys heard that?
I haven't
No,
heard
but
that.
I personally wouldn't be surprised if somebody working in a bar worked with the police.
But okay, screenshot that Facebook and send it to Robert. I'd like to see it seriously. I've not
Yeah.
seen where either one of them worked for MPD. I'm curious. Anyway, go on, Robert. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're gonna see Emma Bailey and Ashlyn Couch walking out of this house, and Ashlyn Emma claims that she don't know anybody that lives in the house, but yet why is she walking out of 1122 King Road? See right there is Emma. And there's Ashland Couch.
You guys haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay, drive careful, okay?
Thank you.
I don't know who lives here, but yet she's walking out of the house.
Right.
Did they?
I can go get them.
Right, and that's one of the roommates, right?
Trulies? This is what the other group had that ran away.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
really?
nothing.
They just ditched it? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car. And the other one.
Nice.
Is this
Trulies for the
great for us
win.
at the beers? The Trulies.
Moscow 157.
Yeah, he had the backpack a minute.
Got it at 1122 Queen Road.
There's like four
That
cops.
cop calls it Queen Road. So where
Yeah,
does
they
King Road
know it
come
as
from?
Queen Road. There's no such thing as King Road. They've said it every time they go there. They call it Queen Road.
That's funny.
Yes. That's hilarious. Like you, as soon as they know it's the cops, everyone does the same thing. They're like, they just like blend into the darkness.
It's a normal day.
What? You saw a cop? I swear I saw
Spend a
on
lot of
this
time doing
video,
this
I
in
saw a
student
cop or
area.
two climbing out the window.
Yeah.
The girl answered the door at her market.
I saw that. Yep.
The cop saw it.
Yeah, but I didn't.
No, I didn't.
I know
I think
he's
she's
fixing to
joking.
dump
I
out
didn't
them
either.
Trulies.
Come to the damn door.
We're not going away.
It's like frustrating. You're like, we'll figure out who lives here eventually.
We'll figure out who lives here eventually.
I think they already knew who lived there.
So if they just don't come to the door.
What's that?
What if they don't come to the door?
Not gonna push the issue, probably, but they're all mostly students, so the campus officers can figure out who lives here. And then, honestly, it's a lot worse for them if they don't come to the door pretty frequently. Like, if they, campus will, if students get in trouble, they will, if they get in trouble at campus, it's actually honestly for
Really, Cherry?
minor
Wow.
stuff, campus will handle it.
Yeah, but they were
Suspend them
partying
or
in
kick
there.
them out altogether or lose all your financial aid. Like, it's pretty serious. So they've had several
Yeah,
kids
we're not
that
going away
get
either.
super
You're right. What
hammered,
was
fall
more?
off balconies over the years and stuff and die, so they take it.
Now, do you hear what he was talking about? Kids losing their financial aid.
Yeah, he's basically trying to threaten them. He says if the campus police comes there, it's going to be worse off than them. They're on a high horse. Like, I don't understand these cops. Like, seriously.
It's like they don't have anything else to do. I mean, these are like jerking around type
Yeah.
conversations they
I'll
have with
be
these
honest
girls.
with you. I'd be the mom that hung out in the basement living with the kids going, okay, you got a warrant? Show me your warrant. Like, it's out of hand.
Yes, Renee,
They're
we
out
hear
of
what
hand.
Ellie is saying. Thank you. What was war? He said, "Keep up the good work, true crime cult."
Yeah, they also asked how they could get a hold of you. We have the Discord. You know, if you're interested in the Discord, the Discord works out really good. We have a lot of talk in there. You can pass around all kinds of
Hi,
documents.
Eric.
We've got a document drop. Like there's
Yeah.
a lot that you can do there. If you're not into Discord, Robert, how can somebody send you information?
I would say my email, but I don't want to attempt that ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just keep it to Discord.
Well, that person's not a member of Discord, and they want to send information. Let me think about how we could do that.
Okay.
Oh, also,
You serious?
come on, people
Yeah.
in chat. Let's get them thumbs up. At least that's free. Robert worked his butt off getting this together. Come on. At least get the thumbs up in the chat. That would be sweet. It don't cost you anything. Let's do it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Children. Come to the door, guys. Send whoever lives here down to the door. We're not leaving.
That's a strobe light he's doing.
We can also see you.
Trying to get their attention. Thanks, Happy Face. You were number 19 on the like. We like it.
Abandoned property.
Thank you, Happy Face.
Moscow 157. Do you have any recent involvements at 1122 Queen?
I hear a lot of hollering. Is that coming from inside the house, or is that coming from
Yeah, they're having a party.
surrounding buildings?
No, they're having a party, and that's why they can't hear the cops.
Well, no one's here that's trespassing, but no one is here right now. So where'd they go?
I hear Hunter Johnson.
So you guys just throwing a party in their house at the
They were
time.
here. Not here right now. I just
Copy.
all the way.
They left and went over to some other party, and everyone is about
I
to
just
leave.
searched all over to in the fake. Who does that? Where they're
I am actually not sure.
Convenient amnesia.
Yes, Jimmy, I heard that.
Male, female.
I love the idea of throwing a party and leaving.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't get it. I don't know if they're.
I don't.
So
Emma
guaranteed
lived
they're
right
social.
behind that Queen Road house.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like
she-
right up the
like right-
backyard.
Yeah.
Young games with me. I'd rather deal with this as a noise complaint.
And Emma and the girl you were saying is supposed to be the other roommate, right,
Oh,
Robert?
in the
She,
background, yeah. I don't know if you heard it, but in the background, they're threatening them with the Greek council.
Oh
Listen.
yeah.
Live across the street. I just
Heard
can't
it.
I haven't drank a drop. Male, female. I think it's like
What's going on?
I don't get it. I don't know if they're.
I don't.
So I guarantee they're associated with the story. Many of them are living here. It's not campus story house. I've been a cop for 22 years here. I'm not stupid. Play young games with me. I'd rather deal with this as a noise complaint. Council, report, all of that.
I'd rather deal with this as a noise complaint than getting hold of the Greek council and the Greek board.
They're
He's
all
threatening
about
him.
threats. Yeah, they're all about threats.
They don't like what? Yeah, what else? They can't. They know that they're supposed to ask everybody to vacate.
But
So
they
as
don't.
opposed to, but they don't. So as opposed to saying everybody needs to leave and they lock the door, like and kick everybody out and lock the door behind them.
You know, by law, you don't have to answer the door.
Right. But they don't know that. Those
But
kids
the
don't
amount
know
of
that.
but the
That's
amount
why
of
they need me in the basement as the mom telling them, you don't have to answer that door.
Right.
but the amount of harassment that they're getting right now, the kicking of the door, the strobing flashlight into the window.
Wait a minute, kicking? They were kicking the door? Because I thought they were doing your rather LE knock.
There was either a knock or a kick. I couldn't tell because it was off. It was off camera.
Man, that sounded like a Ellie knock to me, and it's a pretty
Yeah.
hard fist on the door. Night, Nina Kelly.
Yeah, almost all college students.
People up on the hill, I didn't know.
Yep.
Night, Nina.
And this is kind of a fishbowl in here, so if they get party, it echoes crazy.
What'd he say?
It's a fishbowl area, and it echoes like crazy.
Inside the house?
Outside.
He just
We'll go get
oh
the
oh
Because
so
there's a
he's
little valley area there.
yeah he's talking about the the amphitheater or whatever Enan says.
Just you guys want to leave the door open for us? That way we can get some sort of communication between us.
My kids would know that, Ashley.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
But you're right.
Hey guys, really, we're just coming here for this.
Is Hunter Johnson kind of arguing with him? Because it sounded like Hunter Johnson was kind of
He's
halfway
nervous.
arguing.
He's been drinking.
arguing.
He's probably just trying to come up with an excuse as to why none of the owners are there.
Right.
And then the cop said that this could be technically breaking and entering.
Yeah, that's crap. If you have permission to be in the house, there's nothing that they could have did about it. But Ashley's right. They're kids. They don't understand. But my kids at 20, believe me, growing up in my household, knew. Definitely knew.
I want to bet that someone from this house comes down here all of a sudden.
I'm sure they fucking. I think the bunch was bolted.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah.
And they knew we were in the front door.
There were some coming up behind us, and I don't know where they went, but they looked like they were probably headed this direction.
Yeah. Yes, please just go call someone. Thank you. All right. Well, they told me they just lived across the street. So
Did you hear
their Sigma Chi.
the cop just said under his breath? Stupid effing kids.
Yeah, I've actually
He just
watched
said it under his
the
breath.
particular one a lot.
Yeah.
That Sigma Chi, he pointed right at it.
Yes, he did. That was not smart.
Not intelligent, young man.
Fucking off-campus sorority
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, 100%.
Bunch of fucking idiots. If I have to, I'll just start running plates.
Yeah,
All of
I was seriously thinking the same thing. Take all the campus back. Have a nice day. Figure out who these people
They threw
were.
a big ass party with underage drinkers, and they all left and wouldn't come to the door, so they're uncooperative.
Yep.
Here are the names of the people who were there. Their vehicles were there, at least.
You can play stupid games if you want to.
So they took their names.
I would play the
Party
stupid
somewhere.
game too.
Real quiet.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast.
I mean, Sigma Fez is the only one that I hear.
Yep.
I
They
didn't
said they're
see
going to
anybody
another party. I wonder if there's
breathalyzed.
another
How
big
could
party
they prove
somewhere.
they were drinking? Interesting.
They were taking
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going somewhere.
But hey, they abandoned it.
Yep.
But guess what?
This
They're
is what I
pouring
don't
it out.
like right here. This
Yeah,
gets
that's
the law
so
big time.
yeah, it's so rude. It's just it'd be
Well,
an
for one,
a-hole,
they're
really.
Calling it
trespassing.
abandoned property.
Yeah.
Not
calling it
abandoned
abandoned
property. It's
property.
on private property. This is so
Right.
wrong right here. This is
It's
so
in their
against the law.
it's in their driveway. It's theirs. And they're 21. The girls that live
I
there.
like it when they abandon their shit.
It don't matter. It's private property. It's not abandoned
Some more in
property.
there.
Right.
I hope the parents sue the cops
Exactly.
for that.
Street views. White Claws?
White Claws.
Nice.
They're gonna be so angry.
I hate when I leave my White Claws. Oh, they're cold too. Man.
Yeah, these are cold.
Whew. Oh, my God. An open one. Hello.
I would
do
sue.
that?
I swear I'd
Learned
sue.
that from a college kid. Yep.
All three of them cops.
Yep.
Abuse of power right there. Trespassing.
I just dropped the walk off the big time. Maddie, 1 second. You can volume up on this.
Yeah,
Did you hear
Ronnie,
that-
it makes me mad watching.
Did you hear what that boy said? That was an abandoned property.
Yeah. Yes. And then it's like $20 or probably for a case of that up there, right?
White claws
Yes,
are
you're not.
expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he had an entire backpack full of them, and they were cold.
And you know what? It was cold out. It was November. Why wouldn't you leave them outside? Why fill up the fridge? Like,
I
listen,
don't
I'm
think
not a
this party
drinker,
is just.
but
I don't think this party was November because I was thinking that when we saw Emma and her friend come out and they're in
This
like
is
no
September.
but
clothes.
they're in
Yeah,
shorts.
this
I
was
see
2
them in
months before the
shorts.
murder.
Yeah. Well, a lot of
Yeah,
people don't take their
still
alcohol
though.
inside.
Yeah, still though, it's still a lot of. I do that. People do that. I know tons of people who do that. Just set it down because there's not going to be room in the fridge. And maybe there's no room in the cooler. It's not a big deal.
Could have been a backpack
So,
cooler. Could have had some
Yeah,
ice in that sucker.
it's funny.
Leave it outside. Okay?
yeah, I know.
You live at 112
Queen Road.
Okay. So, hey, the reason that we're here is that we received a complaint.
Brushing on the can.
Never had one, never will. Running away.
No one should be a fan of White Claws or Truly.
My husband sells White Claw. There's a lot of people like White Claw.
Oh, good on you. I wish I did.
Yeah.
I did when I was in college. So, right now, if I can, I would like to collect.
I remember what it's like
to college kids. And I'm guessing in our
Blaker right there. He oozes what's that word? Butthole-ish.
He is butthole-ish. I agree. Yeah. It's a
He's on a power trip.
They're
no
all of them's on a
big
power
time.
trip, but it
Big
seems
time.
like the older gentleman, which might be that guy right there, is the head of it. Like, it's not abandoned property; it's on private property. Like, everything they just did there is illegal in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like totally ruthlessly dicks.
If
I
it
don't
was on the
understand actually.
street, if it was on the street, it'd be abandoned property.
Right,
It's on
sure.
private property.
Right.
I'm kind of tell me if I'm wrong here, Rock, but I'm kind of wondering if the police say this was a targeted attack. Well, what if the house was targeted by the police? Because we just saw all this police dumping out that guy's White Claws, and
I believe
it's
they
on private
harassed
property.
them. I don't know about targeted, but I believe
No,
that
targeted harassment. Targeted harassment.
I believe they harassed them, but they also harassed the boys up on the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
the
seem to do the
Banfield.
girls too. We just
Yeah.
got the body mostly. I mean, I watched a lot of Lana, and I know you don't mind me saying that. I've watched a lot of her body cam stuff, and they did it to the male frats too. But they didn't take pictures of their IDs, and it seemed like we focused on the girls' house because this is
Yeah.
where supposedly they were unalived. But I believe these cops did it actually to everybody. But I don't think they took a copy of their driver's license. But I think
Yeah.
they harassed everybody in that area. That's my
Mittens,
opinion.
Mittens for Kittens said, but they treated the guys differently.
I mean, they didn't
Well,
get their IDs and they didn't dump out their alcohol.
right?
That's true.
100% differently.
Also as well, okay? Yeah. It's okay.
I don't assume that's Gatorade. But
It's coffee, though. You want to take a test? How do you spell it, Maggie?
Loaded weapon right there. Twisted Tea. Whack. Remember that video? The dude smokes that guy.
I have no clue who this is.
I don't know. You can leave it there.
I'm sure whoever's passing it will come grab it.
They're gonna be sad when they come find it.
Yeah.
Oh my shit. So I take you guys are Sigma guys.
I'm a Sigma. I was in a house, but I'm not.
You what? What?
You graduated. Well, graduated with a bachelor's. I'm still getting my master's right now. So.
But you get masters.
All right, Madison.
So here's the deal. Okay. I actually got a kid.
They've already said that no one here lives at
Really?
What's his name? The occupants that live at
First
that
year.
address are here right now.
He's only
His last
he's a
school right in
Oh,
Baker.
he's a
You
you
need to let
won't
them
know
know
that.
that. You always needs
Did he
to
go through Russia?
come down. Okay. You just received
No, don't take this the wrong way. I told him if he joined a fraternity, I was going to disown him.
Yeah, I know. I don't blame you. I see both sides of it.
I did it because I know his personality.
And after a while,
I understand. Okay, it's just
So
I mean, if I were you guys, I'd probably just come home.
I was in a different
and make sure that whoever is
not in
party here is getting down to.
No.
All right. Okay. So at this point, we're going to leave. Okay. And again, if I have to come back later tonight, like I said, I
Actually, there for 2 years.
some citation to get now. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay, you enjoy your evening, all right?
Mm-hmm. Safety training is try them out, make sure they actually enjoy the job before you invest a whole lot more time. Yeah, so we like to get them to this point, just to get them hired. It's a pretty substantial, but they do a full background check, tons of interviews. We go to all their previous places of work. Like we send people to where they live. So just to get to where you're hired is a big deal. And then it's 4 phases, 4 weeks each. They get progressively more burden put on them to do the job on their own, basically. And so we have like a 50% washout rate, believe it or not. Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why they have a 50% washout rate.
For what?
To become a Moscow police officer.
I think he's
that's right.
wrong. I think he's wrong about that. I mean, you have an academy you go through. He's saying you go through 4 weeks and you do something else. They go through an academy, and either you make it through the academy or you don't. That's how that goes. I don't know who that guy is talking, but
yeah, they send a bunch of they dig into your past. They send a bunch of people out to where you live. They scrutinize your former employers, and
hey, I did Trapper Keeper. I did use binders and pocket folders with class. You're right.
But even if they were from out of state, yeah, yep. Like we send people to Montana and Illinois and California. Person from the police department, or you reach out. Our detective sergeant goes, talks to all their bosses, and pulls all their records. It's crazy because it's such a high liability. Like if you hire someone who's got a bad record, you don't find it. You're stuck with them. So yeah, it's a pretty significant process. No, I just drank in my apartment by myself.
Is it the end?
What's going on?
I don't like silence. I'm waiting for Rock.
Well, I'll
Fill
talk.
the,
I mean,
fill the silence that's happening.
I don't like silence. So,
I know
trying
you
to
don't
watch
like
the
silence.
questions here. 4 people use binders. High rollers like myself use trapper keepers. I guess I was a high roller.
Oh.
That sounds horrible. Whatever it is, it's very chatty.
I know. I'm trying to fix it. Here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Yay, it's working.
No, it's buzzing like crazy.
No, yeah.
There we go.
See if there's any other activities you can be aware of.
How about we do a little bit of talking with the chat, and if anybody wants to ask questions.
Yeah.
Because that noise is horrible.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's bad, Robert.
It's horrible.
All right, hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that freaking.
It's horrible. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's my earbuds.
Stop that. Horrible.
You gotta mute. You gotta
Oh
mute,
my
Robert.
God.
Dang.
That's not
Oh,
cool.
wow.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
bet
good.
Rock Talk used those stickers to correct her whole bunch papers from falling to the side. Listen, I had the little round white ones, you're right, and they went right over the hole. I never
Oh,
ripped.
is that what those stickers were for?
Yeah. I don't know, but what is that noise? We gotta correct
I,
that noise.
I know it's bad. What is it?
It's really bad.
My
Maybe mute it till you fix it, because it's really loud. My God.
Yeah, Robert. Robert, you have to mute it. It's bad.
So what you guys think? What do you guys think about what? So do you want to see that lady again?
Ashley. Yeah, do we want to hear from the medium?
I'd like to reach out to her and
So
see if we
she
can
has
get a
a she
video.
has a she has a strong following.
I know she does. I'm
And
interested, especially since that was her first Idaho 4. I'm
here's what
interested to hear more from her.
I'm interested because, even if everything she's saying is, deniable, whatever, I feel like he still has insight as a human, like any of us. And she still was saying some of the things we all think about different things, right? Like alluding to most of the stuff we talk about anyways. So
Yeah,
it's
and
not like
I like
it's
her different mindset on it. Ashley
right.
wants to know, does the panel think about drugs? I think these kids use drugs occasionally, probably smoked a little weed, but some days I feel like maybe they sold some stuff, and some days I don't know what happened. You hear that some stuff got flushed. Like, it's really, Ashley, I'm on the fence with it, honestly. I'm not real sure. I wish I had a good answer for you.
Right? It's a theory. I go with it. I can see all sorts of different ways drugs could be involved. Like all sorts of different angles why drugs would be involved. And it could have nothing to do with the people that got killed. Yet
True.
drugs could still be involved.
But what about the guy that slept on the couch downstairs, the son of the owner or whatever? He could have been
There's a
dealing
guy on the
drugs out of
couch.
that room.
Yeah, if there was, that's what I'm saying. That other room, still to me, and I know we talked about it, and Nina explained it to us that it's like they're each room is rented separately. So I get that, like Joe, anybody I guess could rent the room, but I would assume it would be, the other girl, the Ashland person, is the person that they had there, and so I'm guessing like we don't know that person. We don't really know to what extent drugs could be involved in any of it. Could it be involved at like a different thing, like the snitches type thing, and like all those different possibilities? Could it be that the people who did it were on drugs and have nothing to do with the people in the house doing, using, having, selling, whatever drugs, having anything to do with drugs? You know what I mean? Could be some
Mm,
like crazed person on whatever drugs, and then that person, because of whatever, is gonna be able to do this, have these feats of strength that are insane and are able to murder a bunch of people because they've taken whatever. So there's just so many angles. Are drugs involved? Probably.
probably. I mean, they're college
They're college
kids.
kids, exactly.
Now, were they selling drugs? I think that's yet to be known. Was Did they have family members that sold drugs and something happened? That's still out there.
Right,
I mean, there's
right.
so many possibilities, and I know I didn't
And
answer your question correctly, Ashley, but I'm really trying.
it's so
Doc,
hard though
there
in
must
in
have
this.
been big money involved somewhere. I agree.
Right,
That's
right.
why you bring
Agreed.
up the drugs and informants. Yeah, I agree. And
And drugs are the easiest way to have money, right? I
not
mean,
only
at that
that,
age.
Emily Bailey
okay.
Demetrius was around a lot.
Much better,
So,
Robert.
and we know what they did.
Yes, they were.
We know what they did. So, and you saw her leaving that house. So, yeah,
And claims,
I,
oh, I don't know who lives there.
That's a good
I
point
would
too.
say that
Mittens for
there's a
kittens.
very big possibility, Ashley. And yes, absolutely. Always follow the money. Always
Yep.
follow the money. And then there's just so many theories out there. I love hearing them all. But there is so many theories out there that, the
Did you see
axe
Mitt?
the axe people was involved too. and they were money laundering. There's just so much out there.
Right.
Oh
Did
yeah.
you see Mittens for Kitten's comments? When Sloan mentioned someone in the house wasn't what they pretended. I did wonder if it was an informant.
Very
I
well
kind of
could
I
been.
I kind of thought the same thing when she said that, like, oh yeah, misrepresenting themselves, and that could be on so many levels too. I right, like a 20-year-old
But
person, anyways.
do you think let's investigate what informant is? You know, sometimes an informant is somebody that works for the police department. They get pulled over. Hey, you need to let me know this and this and this is going on. But you
Huh?
also have informants that work for the drug cartel,
Correct.
are informants too, and
Right.
to keep track of their money. So were they there to keep track of the money? Did shit get flushed? Like, we don't know. We can only assume.
Yeah.
We can only give you our ideas, and you give us your ideas, and keep going down this track and trying to figure it out.
Yep.
That's such an interesting that the just drugs in general are are their own rabbit hole of the case. Like if you cut them out, if there were no drugs involved whatsoever at all, that's also very possible.
You know, I still go back to Dave. Dave that was on Lannis, and that he was on the Paramount Plus. But I
Huh?
remember everything Dave. He said his name was Dave, and he did his voice thing. He was on the Paramount
Yeah.
Plus,
Oh, yeah.
but he was
Yeah.
on Lannis. And, you know, he said his friends was the ones going across the field. Well, what friends? Because there was more than 5. We know that. And they went back the
Yeah.
next day to get their drugs. And supposedly BK was laying in the field watching the house. I don't believe any of that part of it. But he did say, and I'm not going to go into names, but one particular one there was the original one that was selling the drugs. And she quit. And then another girl that was living there started selling the drugs. So that rumor was out there through this so called frat guy named Dave. Is it true? Is it not true? I think we're going to hear it in the future. I do also remember Steve G saying, don't make me be the alpha. We know we're going to get drugged through the mud, but we're ready for it. So, what has the families been involved in that they're going to get drugged through the mud? That I always question myself about that. Not because I'm trying to think bad about the parents or anything, but he's the one that said it. We know we're going to get drugged through the mud. What did he mean by that?
No, I guess that they know they're gonna get investigated too, I guess.
But I mean, I don't know.
Or just by people like us.
No, I don't think so. Like, I think there's going to be things that comes out that family members maybe did at some point that they're
Hmm.
going to have to own up to. And I
Right.
don't know if that's good or bad, but he said we're going to be drugged through the mud. I can't get that out of my mind that we're going to be drugged through the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sad.
and Dave's Snapchats were gone. And I'm telling you, my kids do Snapchats. And he, like he said, even my own personal ones are gone. There's no way I didn't talk to anybody.
Right? They're just
But I
gone.
want to know what they've been going to be drugged through the mud. And, you know, I said I don't want to talk about the parents because I really don't. But, you know, we all know what's been going around about everyone of just about every parent has a connection to something or a
Right.
family member connected to something.
Right.
Panel, what's your take on Dylan? Man,
Oh
Uh,
man.
I
look at
don't think
Ashley Ann's question. Yeah. What did you take on Dylan? Do you think she was lured? Do you think she lured Kaylee there that weekend? If so, why? Oh, I totally, I totally agree. She lured Kaylee
that's
there.
still cutting out. That's still really horrible. I don't know why your thing's fuzzy. Maybe it's my ears.
Oh, I got substandard freaking earbuds with this microphone kit.
Oh, it's not good.
Oh yeah. It's
Sudie
bad.
asked me, did Watts interview Dave also, or is that another frat? You know, I'm not real sure. I imagine it's probably the same one. Like, it seems like only 2 people came out and even talked, and that was WSU Kim and that frat Dave. So the town is,
Yeah.
The town
I got
is
it. I'm
town
having to hold the box.
the town is scared of something. Like there's a whole lot more people that knows what's going on. Several of those roommates' parents were involved with drugs. I agree, Rondi. Like the records show it. I just don't want to talk bad about them. Can't imagine what they went through. But was it payback? I don't know. Like this case could go so many different ways. And did the cops really screw it up on purpose? I mean, this is not your normal. Maybe I watched too much TV and too much CSI, or maybe I was in law enforcement too long that I just can't imagine with the year 2022 that they wasn't smarter than they were. Way back in the day, we didn't have all the stuff that they got. I don't know.
No,
A lot of it didn't look right. You suit up. When you go into a crime scene, you suit up. When police come to the crime scene, they block it off. Nobody else comes in. And then I've been hearing the last couple of days, maybe you guys have heard it too, that actually Moscow or the University of Idaho had their own EMS, and most of the volunteers were frat boys. So I saw it today that it said that maybe the frat boys went and did the deed, went back home to sleep knowing that they'd be the first ones back there, so their DNA would already be there. And that made sense to me. That makes sense
Right.
to me
it
because,
made sense to me too.
and I don't know where I saw it the last couple of days, but I did see it, and I was like, that person's on to something. And then they were showing where they actually do have EMS for Moscow for the university, and it's frat guys that volunteer for it. So it makes sense that they would go and do that and not worry about their DNA because they'd be showing back up the next day to prove why their DNA was there. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. AR just dropped a very interesting video here about 4 hours ago, and if my wonderful mods don't mind dropping AR's link in the
It's on
chat,
there. It's
he
on there. I see it. Bianca already dropped it.
Oh, good.
okay,
Actually, they've been sharing ARs all night. I've seen it.
he was talking about EB and DR.
EB and DR.
Emma Bailey and Demetrius Robinson.
Oh, well, I don't mind saying their names. I don't mind saying they got arrested. I saw him say that. And how did they walk away? Well, I will say this. It's really hard.
That's better. Triple A. Those three little letters make a big difference.
What in the world is going on? It's really hard to prove that they actually, unless you see them give that kid them drugs, it would be hard to prove that.
It would be hard to prove what?
I don't know, but what is going on with the video?
I'm going to a different one.
But I was still talking.
Go ahead and talk. It's not. There's no sound on it.
There is sound on it because I could hear it.
No sound on it.
Hear
it. Go ahead, our lovely Rock Chuck.
I already forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead. There was definitely sound on it.
No, it was about Emma and Demetrius.
I was
I know
saying
it. Yeah.
that to be able to prove that they was
Yeah.
actually the ones that made that kid take the drugs would be really hard. Like that could be beat in court. So I have to disagree with
Yeah.
that. I sat in court a lot for my grandpa, and unless they're caught with bags and bags of fentanyl or something, they could get charged with that. But to try to prove that they sold the drug that killed one,
Yeah.
show me a case that has went through, and I will apologize for my comment. And that's not going against AR at all. I love him.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's really hard. That's probably why they let them walk, because to prove that they did it would be really hard.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, because
a drug possession is another thing.
uh, didn't they didn't the kid like die in their arms and then take him to the hospital?
Well, yeah, but then he got released again and went to another friend's house. So,
No.
I mean, how do you
Wow.
know who gave what?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
I know where you're
Yeah.
coming from, Rob.
That's where they can't prove it, right? They could be like, he could have got drugs from 5 different people. They don't know which one of them he took.
Well, not only
Yeah,
that, he went to a different house. And the other thing is, I carry Narcan. Our state gives it to us for free.
Oh, they
I
do?
go
That's awesome.
volunteer. Yeah, I go to volunteer for the homeless. They give it free there. And my thing about that is, when you give somebody Narcan, they have to go to the hospital. It's just a temporary block.
yeah.
Right.
They let
Right.
him
Right.
go again is beyond me. Why didn't they
Right.
hold him for that? And I see Eric says at Rock, didn't they bring him to the hospital and they found coke in Emma's car that was laced with fentanyl? I've never heard that about the hospital. I only heard they got arrested because he died.
Nina Kelly said they got off on a jurisdiction and on a jurisdiction technicality.
Because it was out of jurisdiction, but it still would have been hard to charge them.
Yeah,
I mean, we got kids dropping here, like, I hate to say it, but we got kids just in a little town here. My daughter's friends, 33 years old, from that fentanyl. That's just a really bad drug. Really,
Yeah.
really
It's hard.
bad. All drugs are bad, like in their own way. But that fentanyl is just really hard. Oh, you can't hear
Heart,
me? Well,
I can
heartbreaking.
hear you.
oh, Ashley said hard to hear you. Okay, sorry. Eric
It's
said he saw
heartbreaking
it
to me.
today. Let me find it. Okay, Eric. That's interesting. And you can
Yeah.
share it, Eric. You can share it in Discord even if you want
That's true.
to.
Mittens for kittens. I read someplace they could need more than 2 cans of the Narcan sometimes, even more than 2.
I've seen them use 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
It depends. None of that. Everybody says, well, fentanyl, people use it all the time. Well, in the hospital, it's regulated. Out there on the streets, it is not regulated. So you might get one pill. People are talking about the strips and how legal the strips are, and you can use the strips to test for fentanyl. But you can test on one side of the pill, and it tests negative for fentanyl. But guess
Right.
what? It could test positive on the other side of the pill. And I'm going to be honest with you, most opiate users that I know, and I know a few, okay, they're not going to take the time to test it, to use the
Agreed.
test strip. Like,
Agreed.
seriously.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
And that's
I agree.
sad. I had a really
Yeah.
good friend that passed away, and I remember he would be like really down, but the minute he even knew he was going to get something, like he had all this energy from somewhere, he sure the heck wasn't taking time to test strip it. That's just my own thoughts on that. Spent on the streets is car fentanyl. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But you realize that there's states that them test strips are still illegal? Like, I think if people want to have them test strips to test for fentanyl, I think they should be legal. Like, I
Yeah.
think it's like methadone. I think you should give them out at the clinic.
No, we have at concerts, they have a program called Dance Safe, and they'll test your drugs for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Listen,
And they'll give
it's
them,
like
they
the
give them
Kansas
back.
It's like the Kansas City Chiefs thing. You know, everybody wanted to blame Jordan. These guys went to high school together. They were best friends. It was a big KC game. We don't know who brought drugs to that party. Hell, they probably all did.
Right, right,
Honestly,
right, 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 right.
I go to a
Yeah,
party. I bring my own joints. You
right,
know, like, I don't see what the big deal is why they were trying to blame him. He's got survivor's guilt anyway. Okay. I don't
right.
think for a minute that Jordan killed his friends. Not for a minute. And I'm in the
Yeah,
Kansas area, and I watched my neighbor's party, and I know that it was a big game, and it was very, very cold. As a matter of fact, one of the one of the teams bought, I don't remember which one it was. I'd have to ask my husband. But they canceled their game till the next day. It was extremely, extremely cold.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
I
From
said
Adam
Nina.
38 minute. I put it in your
Nina
Discord. Let me go
mentioned
look
that
at my
that
Discord.
that Caden died because the Narcan that was like ran out. Is there a way to know? Like, is somebody going to be like seem like they're okay somehow, and then
No, usually,
start having an overdose again?
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary. But yeah, the Kansas guys in Kansas is super sad because I kept thinking, like, the first time I saw anything about it, I'm like, oh, drugs. That sucks. That looks like somebody who took drugs. And then they were just like, anytime we saw things about it, like questioning it, it was so like Jordan poisoned them or something. And I was like, oh my God, what? No, this doesn't
Hey,
even look like
Robert.
that at all.
Hey,
Yeah.
Robert. Is Nina still here?
He's in chat.
Yeah, she's still here. I
Yeah,
saw one of her comments.
yeah, can we bring her up?
Yeah.
Listen, I've been at the dentist all day, so, but she's left me some comments, and she took a break tonight to be able to come up and did some research and preparing. And I hate for
Ew.
somebody to waste their time. She works really
Yeah.
hard. And Eric, I'm looking up yours.
There you
Sorry,
go,
I'm at the
Nina. There's
dentist,
your
hon.
link.
I love Nina to death. I really do. And I'm looking for Eric. Eric, you sent it to. Where did you send that, Eric? It's not in my DM. Want to make sure that everybody gets heard here.
I know.
Eric, didn't Eric say he sent it? Rock, I put it in your Discord. It is from at Thought Riot 38-minute video. Okay.
Nina.
Hey,
Hey.
Hey, sweetheart.
what's going on?
Well, smack me around again. Sorry, babe.
Oh, it's okay. You're batting 1,000 today. It's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Luckily, I'm a forgiving soul.
I love you.
No, I was going to explain about the Narcan. This
Yes,
is actually something that I'm trying to work on to get a bill passed. Is because okay, Narcan only stops everything from like hitting your brain. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
all that. So what happens is, and this is happening all the time, is like if people refuse to go to the hospital and everything, then a couple hours later they die. Because what happens is the overdose is lasting longer in their bodies than the Narcan.
Oh my God.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you gave somebody like 2 things of Narcan, would they need one and then you wait, or do you need to?
Well,
Is there
I mean,
some
that's
sort
the
of
reason.
way to know?
See, the bill that I want to get passed is that if 911 comes out and they tell, say there's somebody there with this person, and they're refusing to go to the hospital, that they explain to the person that's there the dangers of not going to the hospital. In a couple of hours, you can be dead,
Right.
And I want them to be held responsible if they don't explain that. Because people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
And so, okay, you saved them right now, but that fent is still going through their system.
Right.
Well,
And
here,
so,
I know here, if they give you Narcan on EMS, you don't get to sign a waiver not to go to the hospital. You have to go to the hospital.
yeah, well, see, that's what I'm trying to get past, is that it's every state, because it's not, you just pick and choose. And so some places, if they refuse to go, they just leave. I mean, I know three mothers right now that watched their kids get saved and then found them dead 2 hours later.
Oh my God.
I can't even imagine that kind of Sorry, mindfuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my God. Yeah, that's horrible. And to have them, to see them, to know that they were like possibly overdosing, and they
right.
think
I
they've
mean,
been
to see
saved.
them get saved just to find them dead.
Yeah. Wow.
Because what it does is they go in there to go to sleep, and their their lungs quit. Their lungs just go.
Theta, I'm sorry to
Wow.
hear that. Theta said my son OD'd at school, and Narcan saved his life. Two kids died. Two kids died. Same Nina.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing about it is there's so much that's not talked about enough, and so that's what I'm trying to do is, look, you've got to be responsible for letting them know the dangers of not going to the
Absolutely.
hospital.
That's amazing. That's a great bill. Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful.
That's right. They don't know. I mean, and I mean, y'all, there's an alarm clock, and it's called an 11-minute alarm clock. This alarm clock goes off every 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And you can sit there every 11 minutes and know that that's a death. Every 11 minutes. So,
So Nina, Terry Martin had a question up there. I don't know if you can see it. At Nina. So why would the guy Emma and Demetrius took to the hospital was released a couple hours later after he went to the hospital for an overdose? It shouldn't be that way, but they're just trying to get him in and out. Like,
yeah, I mean,
different states or different laws.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the thing about it. And the little guy that picked him up at the hospital and carried him home and let him go to bed, he didn't know any better. He was taking
Because
care of a friend.
nobody told him.
Exactly.
And
How
Robert,
would you know? I didn't know that. I mean, how would you know? I mean,
I know. I got it, and I'm gonna be playing the video rock.
well, let's finish hearing Nina because I'm
So if-
about in 1,001 right now.
Oh, please. You know that I don't get upset.
I know,
Well,
sweetheart.
okay, I got upset today, but that's different.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
we're not going to talk about that. Everything's great.
Okay.
You guys want me to start the video?
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about Kaden Patrick Young. He is a student, or he was a student of the University of Idaho, who unfortunately passed away. There's been much speculation within the community that follows the Idaho 4 case about some of the people involved in his death and if they played some role
Can I get
in the
Thought
Idaho
Right
4
podcast up in the
massacre,
live chat,
or
please, Mod?
if
Thank
they
you.
were somehow like involved like in the victims community, like if they knew them.
The Greek
If
community.
because the people that were involved in Kaden Young's unfortunate passing, he died way too young, were drug dealers. And that is not speculation. That is fact. The people we're talking about here, one is a young woman and one is a 36, probably 37 now, year old man who has a rap sheet, a rap sheet. Okay, it's pretty long and it's pretty extensive and it's pretty violent. So I don't feel bad talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to talk about anything that's public record out there. I mean, I think we can talk about anything as long as we're respectful.
Yeah, so I agree. So let's talk, who was Kaden Young? Kaden was born November 10th, the year 2000 in Boise, Idaho. He was the youngest of his family. He was described as independent, caring, curious, a critical thinker, clever sense of humor, and had a stunning range of abilities. He was a really good football player. Actually, there are numerous interviews with him on the internet.
All right, I am with Emmett High quarterback Kaden Young, who's celebrating a thrilling 28-27 quarterfinal win over Blackfoot. How you feeling, man?
Oh, it's great right now. It's great. We were down 1, and the defense got a safety. That might have been the best feeling I've ever had. And then we didn't run the clock down, but the defense helped us out again. Big thanks to the defense.
After winning games when he was in high school.
So like star player type.
Yes, he was a star player. I think he was a quarterback, but I'm blanking on that. I think he was a star quarterback, but if I'm wrong on that, please correct me in the comments. I just know he was a really good football player. But when he went to the U of I, he seemed to leave that behind and instead pursued investigative journalism and started writing for the Argonaut, the school paper.
Interesting switch.
Very interesting switch from jock to fraternity bro, but an investigative journalist.
Yeah, and while in a fraternity, that's
and he
so
was
strange.
the president of his fraternity, of Alpha Kappa Lambda.
Okay.
He went from the secretary to the president, so he moved up.
Does it say anywhere in there what year he was when this happened? Was he a 4-year? Do you know if he was going for his master's? If not, I can look for it while you.
So it sounds like his brother also went to the U of I. Numerous of his brothers actually went to the U of I. He repeatedly made the dean's list, held every high-ranking position in his beloved fraternity. He was scheduled to graduate in journalism with a minor in anthropology next fall, and he passed in 2023. So
4th year, going into his 4th year. Got it. Okay.
Exactly. Anthropology was his minor. Very interesting. He had many plans that he was going to pursue. Though this seems impossibly difficult for us, we are extremely spiritual family and embrace the thought, speak of the dead often, for that is how they live. Carmack McCarthy. That's a quote that they put in his obituary.
Yeah, that's a really nice quote. I like that.
He is with us, he is in us, and we talk with him daily, often laughing, sometimes crying, but always, regardless of what the moment brings, appreciative of the smart, clever, multi-gifted, wonderful chucklehead Kaden, our beloved brother and son.
Yeah,
I think maybe his nickname was Cade, because they keep calling him Cade in there too.
With him being an investigative journalist, I've seen people draw connections like, had these people possibly accidentally run into something like Kaden Young, like Kaylee Gonzalez, who was also very interested in true crime, and a Curious George.
Well, her mom, Christy,
that's a good point, Rock.
literally described her as a sleuth. Literally said in an interview, Kaylee was a sleuth.
Yeah, when Robert stops it, we'll talk about it.
Computer.
Right? I mean, they.
Okay.
What I was saying is, I wonder if he had a problem. I mean, he was a star football player. This happens a lot. And I said it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to go a little bit more into detail about it. Again, say they break their leg playing football or basketball or whatever, and they go to the doctor and they have surgery and they get a few pills, enough pills that gets them addicted to something, and they still feel that pain. They got that addiction, so they go out on the street and get the pill. I would be curious to know if Caden, had an injury from football where maybe he did have a habit that somebody didn't know about, or was this a one-time thing? I almost would think that Emma and Demetrius would not be the kind of people to hang out with. So I don't see a connection there other than maybe the drug, and that's probably not fair for me to say. But as far as with his accomplishments and him being a journalist, I find it hard that unless something else was going on, why he would hang with him too. And that's my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. What do you think about that, Nina? Because I don't want to say something wrong. I know earlier it was drip drop, but I got you.
The only thing I know is that it was in his Coke. He had bought Coke for the party weekend.
Oh, sure, that makes more sense.
Interesting. Okay, go on. I know we got to quit every so often, so I just wanted to. Somebody
Okay.
said a good point. It could be either way. Like I get it.
Ashley said, I'm not surprised they pursued charges. He was a high ranking frat member and had a high profile.
But they couldn't prove that they gave it to him. That's the thing. He also
Yeah.
went to a friend's house. I mean, I think you got to physically see somebody give it to him to be able to be charged with it. Honestly, like around here, you guys probably got the same thing, but it's the tip line, and you can make up to $2,500 if you turn people in, and they're trying
Yeah.
to get the people that's actually the dealers, the what do you call it, the plug.
Right.
They're trying to catch the plug. I
Yeah.
don't. I think they would have had a hard time charging them, honestly, but I think they made a deal. They plea bargained something. Something happened for them to walk so quick. My opinion.
Thank you, Bianca.
Oh yeah,
Happy that-
they definitely yeah, okay.
Bianca says,
You think the same thing? I think they made a deal.
Made
yeah.
a deal. Hell, they snitched like bitches.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. But I
Yeah.
still think it would have been hard for them to get charged, and that's why they was able to make a deal.
Nah, it was pretty much proven.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think that would be hard to prove, seriously.
Ashley Ann says, at Rock Chalk, AR seemed to believe that they made a deal.
I
And well,
get
the
it.
reason that it was pretty much proven is because the two guys that was with him when they bought it, they actually told the police everything. So there was witnesses to the deal.
But they
Yeah,
didn't
Bianca,
twist his arm for him to take it. I'm just saying I don't think they could get a homicide charge unless
Oh
they
yeah,
dropped it in a drink. They
they get.
dropped
I
it in a
mean,
drink.
they're
manslaughter,
getting
maybe?
charged. They're getting charged and sent away every day now.
Not here.
Oh
Not here.
really?
And we got a lot. Like we got a lot. I spent a lot of time at the courthouse. Like, and we got a lot. We got a
Yeah.
lot of people
Bianca called
passing.
this rock stars rock. She goes, True Crime Cult, Soapy, and Rock Chalk, rock star panel. Thank you all so much.
And Nina Kelly's up here. Let's not
You don't think
forget
it
her.
fit? You didn't fit it in there. Maybe Nina wasn't on there yet.
Please stop, Rock.
Well, you know I love you. Okay,
You
let's
know
watch
I
some
love
more.
you
There's
too.
a love connection going on in my live chat between Micah and Bianca. He goes, California dark red cherries are the best cherries.
Yeah, Ashley, exactly.
They got Emma undercover saying she won't sell
Yep.
again because of what happened to him. Yeah, but they
Because
also got her dropping it in the trash.
Yeah,
That was
pulling it out
after
of
he
the crack of her
died.
butt.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
was
that
after he died. That was in
no,
March,
there was
remember?
is a different one, right? Is one of them her dumping it in the trash at the food truck, and
Yeah,
one of
that
them
was
they're
back.
pulling it
Yeah,
out of
that
her
I'm
was.
talking
pants.
about when she was arrested for DUI, dumping stuff
Yeah,
in
that was
that
back in
trash.
February 2023.
I think the difference with the Caden thing was it being in what's the name of that place? Centralia?
Up
Yeah,
by
that's how you say
Seattle.
it.
Yeah.
It's Centralia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't Pullman or Moscow or I mean, they had actually gone to that there was a party that weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the bail was $100,000, and if y'all remember, she called her sister or somebody to get in her safe just to get the money. Really, that young girl had that much money in that safe?
Oh no, the
Wow.
$100,000 was for the murder.
Mm.
Yeah, her bond was 500 for the DUI or the DWI.
That was interesting that she dumped it in the trash and the cops didn't even see it. But yeah,
Yeah, that did
And,
they
and
never
his
see it?
body
We've
cam was
seen it.
sitting right there, pointed at her. He had left
Yeah,
his body cam setting in there.
it's gross. I like clearly pulling junk out of her pants. Right? I'm like, where are you hiding that? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, let's watch some more
They
of this.
haven't
'Cause
given
he says
the
he does.
family.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I know you got something about Steve.
No, I was ready to hear this because Eric said that they said that this is where they say that they found it at the hospital in Emma's car. I want to hear it. I had never heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any of her tech back. None of it.
Yeah.
And the very first search warrant for like a social media, I think, is Kaylee on Reddit. If it's not the first, you guys, that Reddit search warrant was obtained in November, like the end of November, I think November 29th for Kaylee. Reddit, of all places,
Yeah. I've
which is
said
very interesting.
the Gonzalez need to hire me if they want into her stuff. You know, you don't have to have a computer to get everything that's on a computer.
Yeah,
You
it
don't have
sounds
to
like
have someone's phone to get everything that's on that phone.
yeah, and I think that they know some of that. I think that's how they got some of her stuff is from backups and cloud and stuff like that. But anyway, so now we're going to I wanted to take a minute to honor Kaden because he did seem like a really great, bright young man. He did seem that way. And I'm sure
unfortunate.
he was. And it's really sad how he passed. And, you know, we've talked about the statistics with addiction in fraternities that say the statistic
1 out of every 2.
1 out of every 2 people that come out of a fraternity end up addicted to a substance.
And 1 out of every 3 women leave their sorority assaulted.
Oh my
SA.
God.
Right.
I think the stat that I read is assault in general. I think they combined, you know, sexual and physical. I think if it's just SA, it's 1 out of 4, but overall assault is 1 out of every 3.
Wow.
If I'm remembering correct, I'm trying to pull that out of my head
got the
without
receipts?
verifying
They
in
should
front of
be
me.
showing
So,
us the
but I
receipts to
believe that's
this.
correct.
And you know,
The what?
They should have receipts to this that
Yeah.
they're saying. Where's the receipts? So that we can look it up too.
Oh yeah.
Is not just like it. You know, I've heard so many people say like there's no way some of these victims or whatever were addicted to anything or were using any kind of drugs. And I think Kaden is a perfect example of that's not true. You don't have to look like an addict. You don't have to look like anything. Like this drugs, partying, addiction is not just like a poor, ugly person's disease, which I don't believe in ugly people, but I'm just saying, you know, like that's what people act like is like you have to look a certain type of way. You have to look rough or you have to look poor or something. And that's,
You know,
you can look like an upstanding person. You know, the world's businessmen, a lot of them are addicts. Like some
Yeah.
of the richest people on the planet are addicts.
I think finally just this last year the statistic changed, but for like 3 years running before this last year, the leading demographic for opiate abuse was actual soccer moms, were moms. So
I saw
women
that
that
on
had
Dr. Phil.
children of a mother's age between, you know, I think they said I don't remember for sure. I'll say 30 or 40. 30s or 40s is what I'm remembering they quoted in their demographic, and a mother. And that was the key demographic that was abusing opiates.
I saw that on Dr. Phil.
So yeah, it is not a homeless person on your corner that is prioritizing food over dope. Yes, some of those people are addicts. Yes, some of them are on that street because of addiction. But 1 out of every 2 fraternity members leave addicts
And you
or
can-
alcoholics,
and you
which
can-
same thing, but you know.
Yeah, and you can be a functioning addict. And that doesn't mean you function in every aspect of your life. You may function well in, you know, maintaining your job and making money and supporting yourself and your habit, but you can really suck at all your relationships. You know what I mean? or other
Yes.
things. So functioning doesn't mean functioning in every way and being perfect and okay. You know, you're going to fail in some aspects when you have a mental illness like addiction.
Yes.
But so let's move on to this article that I've seen tons of people bring up back when this happened, and it's from the Chronicle. Title is Two People Allegedly Connected to March Overdose Death in Centralia Released Days Before Scheduled Trial. So this is Emma Bailey, who was 22 at the time, and Demetrius Robinson, who was 36. Emma Bailey, fun fact, lived right behind 1122 King Road. Her parents' house is
Interesting.
right behind there. Really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, she's literally could just like walk across the street. Or I think she has to go through some like stairs. I don't know why there's so many stairs between residential streets in that area, but I think there's like some stairs and then like she's like there.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Are
it's
they
super,
still
super,
together?
super,
I'm curious.
super interesting.
And this is a topic, these people is a topic that everyone has wanted us.
What?
Is Demetrius and Emily still together? Does anybody know? I'm curious.
Nina says no, but but
Where'd
what
she go? Mike, isn't she?
Nina says no, but what I've heard is that he's her pimp now.
What?
Oh God.
Well,
He has her doing pornos.
What?
Oh Jesus Christ. What about
That don't
what's
even
Nina
sound
say?
right.
Nina, what are
Nina-
you saying?
Yeah, I think that we're gonna finish this video, but Nina, you've got all the old stuff that's been scrubbed. I think that's gonna be like we need to definitely set that down and do that.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's a good one for Robert.
I've got his record all the way. I mean, I've probably got his record from 15 years.
Wow.
Wow. We'll definitely do that. Let's finish this video, and but we'll talk more. I promise. We gotta stop every so often. and do
Ashley
videos.
Ann said motive and opportunity.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
To talk about for a long time. We're just now getting to some of these topics for you guys. So
Yeah, because
interesting.
the Emma and Demetrius stuff started getting brought up to us like a really long time ago, many, many months ago. I would say 10 months ago. You know, it was mid 2003 or 2023 when people were like, you got to look into these people. And while I'm not convinced that they are a part of the deaths, I do think there's some interesting things here. And I think that we could dive even deeper into this, you guys. But there's some interesting things here that are indicators of me on what was going on around Frat Row, what was going on in this neighborhood, what was going on in Pullman and Moscow when it comes to the drug game. And to think that none of the victims or people associated with the victims were at least doing party drugs.
Oh yeah, it's a college. I mean, for me at least, right? I understand that you're being
All of
objective in your
them.
approach. But every single college, every single
person in
one
that house did party drugs.
has a major
Guaranteed.
drug problem.
Yeah.
Every single
Well,
college. There isn't a single one.
What's really interesting is I
don't know about that house, but
I suggest looking up how traffickers literally target universities and towns. It's a never-ending market. You constantly have new people coming in. These are young people looking to party. Like, it is the perfect environment to push drugs.
yeah.
And also getting them to be foot soldiers for you. Fraternities and college kids are literally targeted.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I mean, they're willing users.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're targeted in a way where they're like, oh, these poor college kids. No, look, college is about finding yourself
willingly participating, yes,
and partying and doing all the things you wish you could have done while living in your parents' house at high school. That's what it's about, finding your freedom. So most of these kids are ready to go, and I think that these statistics around fraternities being 1 in 2 leave an alcoholic or addict add to the reliability that they could be a source to deal. 1 out of every 2 is using a substance. That's a reliable percentage. Jeez.
Mm-hmm. I know. So now let's get to basically what happened. Okay. Emma and Demetrius were arrested March 21st of 2023 about Kaden's death. They spent 2 months in jail, 2 months and 5 days, and were about to literally face like trial. Like they were setting trial. And then they literally just got released. And the judge dismissed all charges. And there's been many questions over, and I literally have some documents here proving it's dismissed. Like now, they did dismiss it without prejudice, meaning they could refile these charges if they wanted to. But
they
haven't.
That's when someone turns. What do you mean? That is how they file and or drop charges. When somebody is feeding information to the police, they want to be able to refile these if they don't uphold their duties of giving information.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's a known fact in the whole drug game with the police. The police will target people to turn and tell them information about what's going on in an area.
Absolutely. So they were each charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit violation of the Uniform Controlled Substances Act in Lewis County Superior Court following a joint narcotics enforcement team investigation. On May 25th, the Lewis County Prosecutor's Office filed motions to dismiss the cases against Bailey and Robinson without prejudice. And, the judge canceled the trial and was like, yeah, I'll dismiss all the charges. So they were accused of delivering cocaine to the man to Kaden, who was visiting from the university. He was visiting a friend, a fraternity brother, and partying, and they delivered him cocaine, and he OD'd in Seattle on March 20th.
Because it was cut with fentanyl?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard a bunch of people saying that's not true. It is true.
No, dude.
It is 100% true, and I have the report proving it's true.
It is so hard to overdose on cocaine, you guys.
He did not just have cocaine and fentanyl in his body. He had more than that. So we'll get to that in a second. So he received care, Kaden received care at Harbor View Medical Center for an overdose. He was discharged at 2 a.m. and picked up by a friend. I've heard many people say that Emma literally picked him up. I don't know if that's a fact or if it was his other friend. But it does seem that they did meet back up. So, and he OD'd again, and this time actually died. But we can go into more.
2 back to back.
So they met up twice?
Oh, thank God you stopped it. I've been begging. So, Nina, you have the paperwork that says that he pleaded, correct?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, in front of me right now.
Okay. And Eric's only going by this podcast, that what they're saying. So I know.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean anything about.
Yeah, I get it. So my question is, so these people who we don't know that's doing the podcast, and they're not showing us anything, they're just saying things. They said they didn't get charged, and she could prove it. But you're saying they did a plea deal. So I think that's definitely something that we want to do again.
Okay.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense? And Eric, I believe you too because I'm listening to it. But
Oh no, I wasn't saying that towards Eric at all.
I know you wasn't. I'm just bringing it as an example because you got the paperwork. He's saying that they're saying it, and I'm listening to what they're saying. They said that there was never charged. I think that's another show, a good show.
Yeah.
If y'all are willing to do it.
Yeah, well, I'm willing to do it.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Robert. I was
Okay,
trying
well,
to
it's
stop you when that was
it's
going.
I know. We're going at 2 hours and 30 minutes. You want to go ahead and shut it down?
How much more of the
We got
podcast do
20
we have?
minutes. Let's go ahead and is everybody good to finish watching this video? Let's do the
And I
video.
sped it up too.
Make sure you hit
Yeah,
that
so
like
the friend told
button
law enforcement
too.
he went to sleep and stopped breathing shortly before the friend called 911. And they were being held on $100,000 bond, $100,000 each, by the way, which is quite a bit. But I found an article that goes way more into depth about this, and I highly appreciated it. Highly appreciated it because there's a lot of confusion surrounding what exactly happened and if the cocaine was cut or not. It was. It absolutely was cut with fentanyl because when they revived him, or when they were trying to get him out of it, he responded to Narcan, and they obviously did toxicology. And we have that report. Anyway, so
yeah, it's so rare to OD on cocaine, you guys. Like, for anybody that has absolutely no knowledge of these things, can you overdose on cocaine? Yes, you absolutely can. But a lot of time you go into a cardiac arrest where your heartbeat is pumping too much. It's not the same kind of OD that you would see in opiates. And it's actually a lot harder. I've known people that have massive, huge, insane tolerances with cocaine where they're able to do 5 grams a night.
No,
5 grams
please
a
slow
day.
it down.
Yeah, with opiates, it does not work like that, especially when you're messing with fentanyl, especially when you don't know fentanyl's in your cocaine. Look at the Kansas 3.
Right.
Same situation.
It is exactly the same situation. And I don't know if we have the full toxicology report for them yet.
Do
Is the
like
full
the
one out? I'm not sure.
150.
Anyway, that's not the topic. Sorry.
150.
Okay, so Kaden
There you
Young
go.
is the first time, he ODs. He gets revived using CPR and Narcan. And then he is released less than 12 hours later. Then 7 hours after that, he dies in his sleep on March 21st. And there's reports of him snoring, and a cop said that snoring is like him taking his last bits of air. That's what it reminded the cop of. I don't know if there's some kind of recording or something, but I don't know. Maybe the friend was describing
dying.
I don't
Why
know.
wasn't someone giving him CPR?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me look for the snoring comment.
That's
real quick.
really strange because, if someone is out and you're hearing weird sounds and you're noticing that their breathing is suppressed, why wouldn't you give them CPR?
They're
Yeah, I
high
don't know.
too. They're
I don't
high
understand
too.
it.
They're high too.
This describes the whole situation, though. Oh, yes. So a friend showed the police a video he took of Young snoring loudly at 8 a.m. Based on the snore, I recognize it to sound similar to the snorting sound people who are dying commonly did with their last breaths. This is what Officer Timothy Odell wrote in his police report. Okay, so let's get into what actually happened that night,
That
you
doesn't
guys.
sound objective at all.
No, not really, but anyway. So the police report basically describes a chaotic series of events. Okay, it's a mess. And this is in a hotel in Seattle where Emma and Demetrius are. And this is where both of them summon emergency responders on March 20th. They said nothing out of the ordinary occurred between his exit from the hospital and his arrival at a friend's apartment in Centralia, 83 miles away. So Emma and Demetrius, after he overdoses, literally 83 miles away from his friend that he's supposed to be visiting, and he's in Seattle with Emma and Demetrius in a hotel.
That's really strange.
So Emma knew him from the U of I. The friend who reported Young's death later contacted the woman on behalf of the police to try to set up a meeting to purchase drugs, according to the police report, so the police could find her. Love you guys, but not right now, Emma responded on Snapchat. That was super scary working through the situation. This man literally died in Dee's arms. We love Kaden, and I want him to be straight, and I want to make sure he rests and is taken care of and understands how serious that was. I want to see him healthy. We love you guys.
Yes, Heather, I am.
And then they feed him more?
I guess so. Or he stole it. I have no idea. Because, if somebody's like a real addict, if you have it on you, they may not take no for an answer. They may wait till you go to sleep. This sounds like a whole night of partying. He OD'd in the morning. I don't know. Oh, I'm not sure. But So he was staying with his former fraternity brother in Centralia, the same man that would pick him up from the hospital and take him home the day he died. Young then traveled to Seattle, where he spent time in the Holiday Inn with Emma and Demetrius. The hotel manager told police she received a call from the woman asking the manager to call 911 on March 20th. The manager and maintenance worker went up to the room to find Young lying unconscious, vomiting, and blue in color. The manager told police the man and woman were freaking out. The man splashed ice water on Young, slapped him in the face, and was performing CPR until the medics arrived. After medics used a low dose of naloxone, which is like it's Narcan, to revive him, he began breathing again and became conscious. The police reported that the man and woman seemed emotional, with the woman falling to her knees and the man hitting the wall and saying, "Thank God." Police said the man made a statement to an officer confirming that Kaden ingested fentanyl. At 2:23 p.m., Young was taken to Harborview Medical Center. He was treated for his fentanyl overdose. The hospital released him at 2 a.m., March 21st, which is his former fraternity brother that picked him up. So he was treated and then released. We can't get anything about his medical trip, obviously, because of HIPAA. So the fraternity brother told the police that after he picked up Kaden fell asleep multiple times on the drive back to the apartment and was so out of it that the friend had to guide him because he could not keep his eyes open. Young fell asleep at the apartment at 4:30 a.m. and the Centralia friend checked on him for several hours, according to the police statements. Okay, so do you understand what's happening?
What?
So Emma and Demetrius were not there the second time.
Okay.
They were only there the first time.
Got it.
So he's with them in Seattle at the Holiday Inn. He ODs. He gets treatment for that OD. And then his fraternity brother picks him up. And clearly, he still has dope on him.
Yeah.
From Emma and Demetrius.
Yeah.
Or he got more.
Because he was passing out in the car on the way home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's when, his friend kept checking on him after that over and over. That's when he took the video and ended up showing it to the police officer and that whole thing about the snoring. And at 8:39 a.m., the friend woke up to Kaden unresponsive. The friend and a roommate attempted CPR and called 911 at 9:07. Why did it take them that long to call 911? He was unresponsive at 8:39 a.m. and they were doing CPR and didn't call 911 until 9:07.
No,
that's like 20 minutes. 8:39 a.m. to 9:07.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Why would you wait that long?
Because they all were doing drugs and
that seems sketchy.
Yeah, like what's the time frame for the Kansas City guys and the time frame for them in Idaho? Is it 8 hours?
There's not a time frame because he didn't know his buddies was still outside and he was asleep in the house. Jordan was for 2 days. He didn't even know they was out back.
What's with all these timelines? Okay, yeah, the 8-hour timeline. Now you have this 20-minute timeline.
Well, I mean, you got to realize it can't be proven that he got more drugs. I'm inclined with the other that the blocker wore off. Like, these hospitals need to quit letting these people loose so quickly because it's just a Narcan is a blocker. The blocker wore off and he was high again. So he was ODing again. That don't mean he had to have taken more. It could have still been in his system. Well,
it sounds like they should keep him.
Yeah, they should have kept him. But also, what if his buddy that picked him up at the hospital was doing a little something and hoping he came out of it? Like, when it comes to life and death, people should call 911. But some people freak out because they're worried about going to jail other than saving their friend's life. That's my opinion. Happens a lot.
Yeah, too much, obviously.
Yeah, I believe Nina and Joanne both said that they thought that he probably died after the Narcan wore off. And I agree. I don't know how much fentanyl he had in his system, but I'd be suing the hospital for letting him go.
You know, I didn't even see Joanne in chat.
She came in late. She got off work. She's there.
I don't see her either.
She's there. I promise. I saw her.
Okay.
She don't have you blocked.
So you want to finish this video and keep going, or do you want to end
Let's
it?
do it.
Okay.
Joanne, they do it here too. They keep you.
To me, if I wake up and somebody
Looking to launch your online
Look, there
store?
they are in the
Spocket
comments.
helps you build your dropshipping store
We've been
in just
dropping
5
your-
minutes with AI.
your stuff all night,
Access
AR.
high-quality products with super fast shipping from premium US and EU suppliers. Integrate seamlessly.
AR,
with
you
your
want to come on
e-commerce
up for a
store,
few minutes?
including Shopify. Boost profits with high margins and up to 30% cheaper price. Start your free
Sorry,
14-day
skip the
trial at
commercial.
Spocket.co and revolutionize your e-commerce
Skip
success
the commercial,
today.
Robert.
Skip the commercial, yeah. AR, we've been watching you. We've been sharing you all night. You want to come up and
he's
say, hey?
unresponsive or
We're
blue,
almost done with this.
I'm calling 911 immediately and doing CPR while I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
You
I
guys,
agree with
if
you.
someone's ODing, do not wait to call. Call immediately.
Yeah. No matter what.
It is literally life or death. Like
Where's
you have to
Nina?
call.
It is.
She
So
left or dropped
first
off.
responders arrived. They don't get a pulse.
Nina?
So they did a
Thank
drug
you,
test
Jamie.
on Kaden, and he
AR,
was
that link's for
fantastic.
you if you want to come up for
He
like 5
had
minutes.
fentanyl, benzodiazepines, marijuana, cocaine, and
Yay!
alcohol.
He
all
said,
in
"Let
his
me
system.
find my headset."
Oh,
Where's
opiates
Nina?
and benzos are so
I don't know. She just
dangerous.
yeah.
Well, he
my
had
The minute she was there, the next
fentanyl,
minute she was gone.
benzodiazepines, marijuana, and alcohol are all downers. They depress your central nervous system. Cocaine is an upper. That's a whole lot of downers. And yes, opiates and benzodiazepines do not mix well. Like you can very easily overdose, not even using fentanyl, using something else that's weaker with benzos like Xanax. If you mix opiates and Xanax, it's a bad combination. It can get real dangerous real fast.
Yeah, geez.
And he had all of that in his system. So police believe the woman who provided the drugs to Kaden was a safety concern and was actively trafficking cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. They tracked her down immediately. Her license plate was entered into the flock camera system, which was automated license plate recognition technology, and police began tracking her phone. Using phone pings, they were able to find her and Demetrius. Officers arrested them, and that's where we're at now. They found a white substance in the woman's car. It was cocaine containing fentanyl.
Yep. Interesting.
So that is what happened when Kaden passed away. And I wanted to read through all that because I thought it was important because, like most people, I was confused and also thought that Emma and Demetrius were involved with the entire thing. Okay. That they were like, they picked it because this is exactly how it was said on multiple channels, is that they picked him up from the hospital and gave him more drugs. And they might have given him more drugs, you guys, because he clearly had some when he got out of the hospital, or else he wouldn't have OD'd again.
Yeah.
So
That's
they
not
very well
true.
could have been like, because
Not
if you have
true.
been on
Right,
this stuff for a while, you're going to
misinformation.
withdraw. So they
That's
could have
not
given him
true,
more.
yeah.
I mean, they
That's not true. That don't
Oh, I
mean that
agree
he
with
had
you, Rock.
got gay more. Yeah. I do have one more clip when we're done with this. It's just an article.
Okay.
When we're done, Nina went and left. She wanted to see AR. Okay, go on.
totally could have. Or he had some left in his bag or something. You would think the police would check though and make
Yeah.
sure he doesn't.
I would think, well, not the police don't always go to an OD. So
The
but,
police absolutely went.
I mean, I've been there when police don't go. You're sure
Okay,
the
but
police went
yes,
the
the
first OD?
Yes, the police came.
Okay. How do you know?
I don't know. It just said first responders. You're right. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Police don't always go. Not for ODs.
Huh. You would think they would.
He's right.
Why?
Why wouldn't
No,
you?
he's
I
right.
mean,
EMS
I don't
usually
think they need to
goes.
charge drug addicts.
I don't either.
Then why go?
Might have saved Caden's life.
I don't know.
Anyway, this charge didn't stick, clearly, you guys. And I would like to add this video clip of the hearing and give credit to the channel that it's on where the charges get dropped. And I also want to mention that Demetrius Robinson has a very extensive, and I mean extensive, rap sheet. But the weird thing is that he hasn't had any charges.
Oh shoot! I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
That's okay. We're not done with it, though, are we?
I hit the wrong button.
It back, right?
Yep, right there.
Okay, thank you. You got me hanging at the end here. I gotta hear.
I
the
know.
end.
What are you doing?
All right, and then you want to call Emma May Bailey? Sorry, I don't have Bailey present at the moment, but I will in just a minute. That's fine. Who do you have next?
Signature on the omnibus order. State versus Emma Bailey, 23-1-167. Will Halstead for the state. Clark. Nick Clark for the defendant. And then.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, okay.
Good, Robert,
I'm
you're
feeling
fine.
somebody shouldn't have been taping.
Right?
I see that. Okay.
I
Ms.
agree,
Bailey,
Eric.
I've just signed an order dismissing your case without prejudice. You'll be released on this matter today if you don't have any other holds. Do you have any questions? No, Your Honor. All right. That's all. Thank you. I believe that's all for the bill. That's fine, Your Honor.
He gets charged for something, it gets dismissed. He gets charged for something, it gets dismissed, including this with Kaden.
That was Emma Bailey's, though.
Interesting.
Odd.
Yeah, that was weird.
And this is a violent criminal. He, on his rap sheet, he has things like literally holding somebody
on.
hostage
That
and
was
beating
Emily
her,
Bailey's.
like a girl,
I didn't hear
holding
his.
like
I heard
for
hers.
some kidnapping or something like that,
Yeah.
and holding her and literally harming her. He has SA. He has numerous charges that are extremely violent, and he is a known drug trafficker. And with the kind of stuff that was on their social media, when, you know, like, it was very clear when you look at Demetrius and Emma's social media, they were like a couple or like partners in crime or whatever, because they were both, you know, like trying to promote her as a model and, you know, acting like they're some kind of gurus and can give people advice and they're going to become millionaires, and literally had pictures like of coke. Like, they weren't hiding it. If you're going to show pictures of like coke in the background, are you just stupid, or is it you're untouchable because you are basically have a salary because you're an informant? You know what I mean? Like, you're a full-time informant, because this
Sure feels like it.
It sure seems that way. It sure seems that way.
Yeah. So
Based off of his rap sheet, and then the fact that no charges have stuck since 2019, and they're serious charges, all of them.
Okay, Eric, I'm watching.
Every single one gets dismissed, and that's why I want to play this little piece of the court hearing where it gets dismissed, because they clearly made a deal.
yeah.
This is the only channel that I've seen have any of the court hearing, which, shout out to you. It's absolutely incredible that you have that. I wish I could
'Cause
get like
they
the raw
snuck
footage,
it.
but
They
yeah,
snuck
that
it.
would take a little while. I'd have to send in a
Right.
FOIA, and I'm just not patient enough. So I want to know what you guys think about the story. I want, like, did you know the full story of what actually happened to Kaden? Because honestly, I was still a little confused before I read all of it on camera.
Yeah. I
Um,
didn't, but it's interesting.
And look at the evidence there with them getting off on charges. Like, even Emma, where we saw her take that thing out of her pants on the camera footage, the body cam footage where she took something out of her pants and threw it in the trash.
Yeah.
You can't tell me the cops
What?
didn't see that, and got her DUI thrown out too.
Yeah. Interesting.
Sounds like some informants to me, guys. And it's pretty blatantly obvious, if I'm being honest. It doesn't even feel like speculation at this point.
Or their parents have money.
Anyway, I want to know what you guys
Their
think about it
connection.
all. Do you think there's any connection here? There have been a lot of connections made between Emma and the victims of the Idaho 4 killings. And
I'd like to know where the receipts are.
Me too. And he's
And
That still wasn't the end, though. Was it the end, Eric? He said that Demetrius was coming up, but it didn't look like
Yeah.
much was left.
No, it didn't look like it.
But there was still some left.
And we could go deeper into those connections because there's quite a few. Like she lives right behind them, and there's a lot more. Like the 6th roommate and lots of other things. So if you want us to dig deeper into this topic,
That was
definitely
the
let me
end of it.
know. Let me know your opinions. And
Okay. I was
Weird.
waiting for Demetrius's.
That was weird. They
Yeah.
skirted around it a little bit. They made it sound like they were going to talk about it.
I felt like
AR said he'll be here in a minute.
I felt like the dude with her, he knew she wasn't being accurate. He looked irritated. He was rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
You see that thing I just sent you though about the couple that got arrested there in
Yeah,
Moscow?
I actually got that loaded up right now.
Let's look at that while we're waiting on. That was sent by Listen to Linda. She wanted us to see it.
All right.
I haven't read it myself. I just sent it on.
Julietta pair arrested for allegedly trafficking narcotics. Moscow, two Julietta residents already
What
on
was that? March
probation.
11th, 2024, right? What'd that say at the top? There's a date. I wanted to see the date. Oh, right there.
Yeah, March 11th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, two Julietta residents already on probation have been arrested for allegedly trafficking narcotics. The case began on Friday afternoon when a probation officer and a Latah County Sheriff's deputy conducted a residence check on 53-year-old Tanya Rhodes and 50-year-old Michael Burrows at their shared home on Main Street. This is in Moscow. According to court documents, authorities allegedly found nearly 1.5 pounds of methamphetamine, along with cocaine, pills, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia during a search of the home. Rhodes and Burrows were arrested on several charges, including felony drug trafficking and probation violations. Rhodes was arrested for drug trafficking in the fall of 2022 when she was found with 1 pound of meth in Moscow. The pair made their first appearance in Latah County's 2nd District Court in Moscow on Monday. That was it.
I'll see if I can't follow up on that. Because that's all that I saw she sent me.
Yeah.
And those just look like average, normal people too, right? They don't look like people
No,
when
they
people
look.
like she was saying before, like to try to demonize people on drugs, and you're like, those just look like normal people.
Yeah, they look like normal people.
Okay, Eric said at that other video, they dismissed his at 34 minutes part of that video. This will be something we definitely go over again with Nina for sure.
What happened to Nina? She just bow out?
Oh, maybe she lost connection because I did DM her. I don't think she was upset or anything. I think it's all good.
She was sleuthing.
That lady
Mittens
digs.
Mittens for
Oh, her
kittens.
phone died. She's saying right there her phone died.
Oh, I was wondering where
Prior
she was.
arrest in fall 2022 must not have stayed in long. That's
Right?
Mittens
Like when, yeah. Do you know what month in 2022? I mean, does it? I guess it doesn't matter if the November is the whatever. Or I mean, guess you might have
There's your
not
link,
stayed in
Nina.
long.
Come on down, Nina. You're the next contestant on the Price is Right. Thomas Wallace. The show D getting dismissed. Not sure what happened on the video broadcast. Hello, Miss Nina. You there, Nina?
She is. She might be muted though.
I don't see her muted.
Yeah. She'll speak up.
Nina?
She'll speak up.
Interesting that the woman was arrested in 2022 with over a pound of meth and somehow got out already.
That's a lot of meth, man, I think. Right? It seems like that's a lot of meth. I don't know.
Sounds like it.
Now, while I was while I was muted, I noticed that there was a breaking news: Supreme Court decides Brian Koberger's fate.
Well, that's just because they denied the moving the trial to the Supreme Court.
I don't know.
Is that just
I
the
can look
title?
for it
What's
real
that?
quick.
Yeah, what does it mean, Robert? Jesus.
Hey, I'm not Jesus. I'm his evil twin. I'm his evil twin, Jesus.
Jesus.
Well, so Ashley was asking, is the chat interested in doing some more digging on the Demetrius Emma situation and getting that information from Nina and letting her talk about it? And what do you think, chat? I mean, we're here
Yeah.
trying to do for you. Make sure
I
you hit
hope you
that
guys
like
say
button
yes.
too.
I hope you guys say yes because it sounds really interesting. It's a
Yeah, I
whole
mean,
nother thing that we haven't talked about.
if not, we could do it. We could do it as a members only, but I'd rather do it as a big group with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like talking about Ben, but I'll listen to AR do it. I have a soft spot for Ben. It's sad.
You know,
Here we go.
I get it. There's a lot of soft spots in this case, right? A lot of things that are like hard to.
I just, I just can't imagine. It
Yeah,
just
that's
breaks
what I
my
thought
heart.
happened, Rondi. Yeah, see, Rondi says they did deny her request. So it doesn't really seem like it is necessarily needs to be a Supreme Court case. It just needs to get moved. And I think that's the problem. Like it just needs to be
I don't think it
under
just needs
different.
to get moved. I think they need to give Ann Taylor everything they
Yeah,
got.
Idaho.
Yeah, you're right. That's right. Just basically what I mean.
Supreme
Like if
Court
they're just gonna mess with her, they're not helping
denies
her. They're
Brian
not
Koberger's.
helping the case. Sorry, Robert.
Yeah, I seen the. It's not that big a deal. Denied, denied, denied. I saw the updates today. People going over it. It's the same old bullshit, different day. So really
The
not
Supreme Court
missing
denied a
anything.
request.
Terry Martin, you emailed me. Okay. You'll blow up my phone, are you? Just kidding.
The man charged with killing
It was a joke.
We joke,
four
but you
University of
never
Idaho
know. You never
students
know.
in 20. Yeah. Yep. Supreme Court denied it, but Bianca, deny.
Right? It's the Idaho Jam, I guess. We just deny everything.
But at Rock Chalk, I get it. Also, if a parent is a drug informant, it actually would be a huge motive. But I love and respect all families and victims. So do we.
Oh, for
Actually,
sure.
so do we.
Okay. Terry, can I read?
Rock,
Can
I
I
sent
read
you
your?
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nina says, Rock, I sent you the
Nina said,
Supreme Court document.
got it. Right now I'm focused on Terry Martin. Are you still there, Terry?
Yeah.
Listen,
She's still.
Terry, do you want to come up or do you want me to read this? because I'm willing to do it either way. Does anybody see her in the chat? Terry?
She's just there. Send it.
Well, she sent me an email, and I think she wants me to talk about it. So I don't know if she wants to talk about it with me here, with her here.
Right.
Sweet Surrender said, I think the
That's
court
all.
is up to something. Yeah, Sweet Surrender said, I think the court is up to something in my opinion.
Right. I agree. There's something fishy
Actually,
going on.
At Joan, Brian has no motive, but I mean, if there is someone who has a motive, we need to know.
Right.
Ashley Ann, shout out to Terry Martin. Oh, shout out to you, Terry Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
This is really so.
What?
What?
It's pretty personal for her.
Yeah, I know.
I'll read the first part of it. I hope that's what she's wanting me to do. Okay. Hi, my newfound friend. As I told you before, you have a way of making others feel comfortable in their own shoes. I've been going through a bad case of PTSD, and I know Nina will be paying attention too. We got a lot of people in this situation.
Yeah.
After watching my 13-year-old son take a bottle of Benadryl 3 years, he was so bad they had to resuscitate him 4 times. It was every mom's nightmare to watch her son in a coma in the ER, watching everyone running around cutting his clothes off, bagging him, having them send the hospital chaplain stand with me. By the grace of God, but it took a toll on my daughter, my husband, him, and myself. I'm starting to get better. I'm so glad you're starting to get better, and I hope you're listening to me read this, and I will be calling you. But in my heart of hearts, I believe God put you in my life to have a good listener while knowing the correct things to say at the right moments. So back out there, and I'm hoping you could do a bit of hand-holding. All of us can, but definitely I will be reaching out to you. It also sounds like you have led an exciting life. Oh, Lordy, you don't want to know about my life. And I can't wait to hear more
Yes,
about
we
you and your
do.
stories. To know that I look forward to getting closer as friends. Absolutely, Terry Martin. And as a matter of fact, we're going to get with AR again, and we're going to start a support group that I think would help you also with Nina Kelly. I don't think Nina can come back up because she's got battery issue problems. But the
Yeah, I think
more
her
and more
phone
that
died.
people reach out to me, the more and more people reach out to me, the more and more I really want to push this support group. Like, it's really important.
Oh, that's
And if
amazing.
Terry's listening, I will be calling you. I'll try to call you at an eye appointment tomorrow, but I got you on my mind and I got you on my list. So Nina will tell you I'm not very reliable. No, I try to be, but sometimes I just get a lot. But I got you, girl. Anyway, go on. I don't know where she went, but let's give her some. Oh, let's give Terry some prayers, please, in the chat. Like, I know that's got to be hard. And Nina's went through worse, but she also loves helping people, and we will not leave you behind, Terry. I promise. And hopefully, anybody else that has that, like, we're here for it. We're not just here for the Idaho 4.
Yeah.
We want to get groups together for you. You are our family. We're not just some chat group. Like,
Terry
we
Martin
truly
says
care
you don't
about you
have to
guys.
read the chat. Terry Martin just said you don't have to read the chat. And she
But
says
she
I
can't come up.
can't come up.
That's okay. I got you. I'll be calling you tomorrow. But we are gonna set up. We are gonna set up a group. We've been talking about now. It's just time to get it done. Did AR ever come back? It don't look like he did. Well, if
And
nothing else, I'll tell you what. Me and Nina, are you down to do it? I'll do it with you. If we can't get it set up the other way, I mean, I will tell you, I don't have a license in it, but I damn sure am willing to listen and try to help the
Yeah.
best I can.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think AR is coming back, and maybe his headphones died, so now
You know,
maybe it'll be a
he was
good.
on he was live on his show for who knows how long before
Yeah,
us, right?
well,
I was
I texted him.
actually
I
watching
texted him,
it.
"You coming, brother?" He said 1 minute. I said,
It'll
"You
be
still trying
another
to find your
time.
headset?" I said, "We are waiting for you, brother."
Well, his wife was off work. They had their long live. Like, it's all good. We're good.
Yeah.
Um,
Nina says she's
when are we
ready.
going?
Oh, you just ready?
No, I think she's ready
Oh,
to
for
start the
to
support
start
group,
that.
right, Nina?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's something that's
Absolutely.
really important that we need to get on. I got you. I got you too,
Okay.
Terry. Like, we'll get it going.
We're gonna go ahead and end this live. And Rock and Sophie, please stay after the live. I have an idea on something.
But yeah, when do you think you're gonna go live again? Do you have any idea?
I mean,
Today's Tuesday. What
yeah,
about giving Wednesday a break and doing it Thursday? Think about Thursday.
we can take a day off tomorrow. And
I only say that because I got a cataract appointment tomorrow, so I don't know what all's going to happen. But you could do it
and
without me. You wouldn't hurt my feelings if you did it without me.
yeah,
Just know that.
okay. Ashley said, "Let us set up a live for a deep dive on Demetrius and Emma."
Yeah. I like it.
Okay. How about that for Thursday?
Yeah, I
Like
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sounds good. Terry, I love you, woman. I don't even know you, so we got you. I promise. Actually, I love everybody in here, but we got it. Okay, so we're out of here.
All
Is
right.
that thing?
Yeah,
Oh, make sure
we're
you
out
hit
of
that.
here.
If you would hit the
I
thumbs up, please hit the thumbs up.
hit the thumbs up.
Hit the
Bye,
thumbs
chat. You
up.
guys are awesome. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, for sure.